You guys, welcome to I'm Not Racist, My Friend's Black. We have one of our favorite people that we've met in 2019. We met you in 2019.
It feels like it was like 2000 but
I know.
It was 2019.
This is one of our favorite friends, Jason Goldberg. Say what up to the people.
What up, people? Wait, how many people? Like, is there like to the left and then like?
Yeah. So this is you right here. But you know, like if you want to like interact there, if you want to like go there or there, like do you?
Thing. I can almost pinch your head.
Yeah. Can you? Got him.
The squares, the Hollywood squares.
Oh my God, it's amazing. I'm so happy to be here with you guys. I miss you guys so much because we had this time where we got to hang out a few times.
Yes.
And we were, Instagram back and forth. And then the world shut down.
I know.
And it's like, does the world not understand that we need to hang out?
We need each other.
I mean, not to like focus on the highest priority thing, but the second highest priority thing.
This is what I'm saying.
Is being able to be around people that you love. And
seriously.
So, come on, Corona.
Seriously.
How ungrateful is everybody for 2019 and now looking back like, man, 2019 was the greatest year of my life.
Yo, seriously. I just saw a meme that it was 2021. I know what you did last summer. And then the next one is 2020. Jennifer Love Hewitt saying, not a damn thing.
Yeah, seriously.
That's really how it is,
Fuck, man. I'm ready for it to be over, you guys. I'm just like, is this our new way of life?
Yo, like just the fact that I was thinking about this the other day, when you go into places and there's all these pre-printed like professional signs about social distancing and about masks. The fact that those are now, that's proliferated. That's as big now as just hours of operation.
Right.
It's just everywhere.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a generation of children who, if that ever gets removed, they're like, Mommy, what happened to the mask sign? Mommy, what happened to this? Why are we standing so close to this person?
Yeah.
We stand far.
But one thing that came out of this that I will say helped the universe and the world is the QR code for the menus.
Yo.
They should have been doing that shit
a long time ago.
Why waste that paper?
But did the phone was it always able to just like do it? Because I thought back in the day, I used to have an app.
No, I'm pretty sure that it's been able to do it for like the past couple of years.
Yeah, we've had the technology.
Yeah. Because remember, I don't know what it was for, but like CVS things, like on the back of like, like check out your prescription or something. And like, it would be like a little code, like a barcode.
Yeah.
But now that they're doing it in restaurants, I'm like, hell yeah.
It's kind of dope.
Yeah. It's like, you don't have to like touch all those dirty ass menus and then you don't have to waste paper.
That's true. But then I'm on my phone and then I'm going to be like, oh yeah, I'm just looking at the menu.
Right.
Why are you scrolling so much on the menu? It's
right.
Menu. And I'm on Facebook.
No, 100% true.
Just everybody on their phone nonstop.
Do you guys ever do the thing when you go to a restaurant? Well, okay, never mind. Nobody goes to a restaurant. But,
right.
but when you can go to a restaurant where all your friends put your phone
stack
in the middle. Yeah, and then whoever grabs theirs first
has to pay the bill.
I love that.
Me too.
Have you ever done it?
What? I've never heard
done
of
it.
Have you ever heard this before?
Yeah.
No,
so
I've
everybody
never
puts their
heard of
phone in the middle and then like, whoever's the first to like fuck around with their phone has to pay the bill. Yeah. I've done the phone stack, but nobody's ever taken their phone.
Okay. So they worked.
It worked.
I mean, that's how it's meant to be. It's not supposed to be.
I mean, nobody's dumb enough to actually be like, all right, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but they have like Apple Watches.
Yeah.
Too.
Oh my God, I know. Fuckers. I'm like, wow, way to cheat.
I can't have an Apple Watch.
Yeah.
If you ever see me with an Apple Watch, hit me with a car.
Yeah. You're not into it?
Nope.
Why?
Nope. I'm so connected already. Why do I need something that's even easier for me to disconnect from human connection?
Yeah, no, I get that.
So I can't do it. Do you guys have any?
No, we don't.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't speak on Apple Watches, but I know Fitbit. I got my dad a Fitbit for Christmas one year. And he started competing with my sister on just how fit they were.
Jesus.
So there's something about that. Like people just love competing. It's the whole thing with Instagram. You want to show the best version of yourself. So it's hard to, I don't know, complain about your lack of fitness when you're like, damn, my 60-year-old dad is like doing more than me.
That's true.
I need to hustle.
I mean, personally, I think shame is a really good way to motivate you.
Yeah. I mean, she's worked this far.
Speaking of fitness, though, I thought it was amazing because I think we talked about this when we first met.
Yeah.
But you lost over 130 pounds, which is insane. And it's so hard for people to lose weight. And even just to get out of that mindset of bad habits.
Yeah.
So how did you do that? Like, what was the switch for you where you were like, I need to make a big change in my life for my health? Because now we're sitting here and I mean, you're healthier than we are. We're sitting here being degenerates.
Yeah, and what the fuck did you eat?
Who's the degenerate? Nobody's a degenerate. I want to be a degenerate.
I'm not a degenerate. Speak for yourself. I'm living my best life.
I'm saying discipline's hard, man.
Yo, discipline is very hard. No, so for me, I have been heavyweight my entire life. Like when I was like the chunky kid in first grade.
Yeah.
And then it got worse and worse and worse. And when I was 15, I was about 250 pounds. And 15 is when kids are like really loving and accepting and would never make fun of you.
Right. And they love you so much. And they understand your life.
Compassion, so much compassion. So that was really bad. And then it just got worse and worse. And when I was 20, 9 years old, I had gotten up to 330 pounds.
Wow.
And it was exactly that. It was just like habits. It was just, I was raised by a single mother, a single Jewish mother. So she can hear everything we're saying right now, even in Florida. And she worked really hard. She was a hustler. So she didn't really have time to cook. So there was a lot of like takeout and pizza and whatever. And we would celebrate with food. If we were bored, we would eat. If we were sad, we would eat. It's just food. It was just the thing, right? It was the comfort. And I wasn't active at all. So like the weight just kept going up. And so it was in 2009, and I had tried stuff my entire life. I did Sugar Busters. I don't know if you know what.
No.
Sugar Busters.
I know Atkins. That's the farthest I go back.
It's kind of Atkins. It's like a predates Atkins a little bit, or at least in the mainstream. And Weight Watchers and Jenny Craig. I did literally all those things. Even as a kid, like I was trying to do that stuff. My mom would try to motivate me with money, right? I'll give you extra cash if you lose weight and all this stuff. And everybody.
That's a good mom.
Yeah, really. Yeah. Just pay it off. She was trying. But the thing is, nobody in the family was really very healthy. Everybody was overweight for the most part, except for like my little cousins, who I hated because they could eat whatever they wanted.
Where did you grow up?
Florida.
Okay.
Orlando. Yeah, Orlando, Florida. So 2009, 330 pounds. I had tried everything, and I, people ask me like, what was the wake up call? What was the thing that really turned it around for you? I had wake up calls my entire life. I mean, there were just. You just
never listened.
I never listened. That's exactly it. I never listened. Or I listened and I would try and then it wouldn't work and I would give up and then I'm like, screw it, I'm done. And so this particular time though in 2009, and I write about this in Prison Break, was when my credit card had got declined. I don't know if you saw that part, if you got to that part.
No, we didn't yet.
Okay, so yeah. So basically, yeah,
he did.
See, so now we know. Now we know who my real friend is.
Fuck. I'll make it up to you, I swear.
It's okay. We'll talk about Young Thug's Kids. It'll be fine. Sponsored by Young Thug's Kids.
Hey.
So 2009, I'm in my last corporate job. So I was in corporate IT for like 15 years before I became an entrepreneur. And I was making really good money, like well over six figures.
Partnering with NASA.
Doing all that. That was later. That was my entrepreneur journey, but we can get into some NASA stuff too. So I went to go buy some socks online. I'm a big sock guy. And I went to go buy some socks and my card got declined. It was like a $50 or $60 Amazon thing. It wasn't a ton of money. I knew I had that money in the account.
Yeah.
And my card got declined. So I called the bank. I was super angry because I also had massive anger issues back when I was super heavy. And I called the bank and I'm like yelling at them about my card being declined and what the hell's going on. And long story short, they essentially tell me my card had been suspended because there was some potentially fraudulent activity on the card.
Oh God.
And so I pressed them, what's this fraudulent activity? I'm assuming somebody staying at some big hotel or they spent all this money or whatever. And they said there were 4 fast food transactions in one day in my town. And they assumed somebody had stolen my card and gone to these restaurants. And of course, that it was all me. It was all me.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the big wake-up call where, for whatever reason in that moment, I just couldn't blame anybody else. I had gotten so good at blaming everybody else. Like I need to eat or do this stuff because my boss is a dick or because my mom is stressing me out or because my clients are assholes, whatever it is. Yeah. And that was the first time where I was like, I just can't blame anybody else. So I started going on this journey to try to lose weight. And what I came across finally was bariatric surgery. And this is something I didn't talk about in the beginning because people have so much judgment, not as much anymore, but there's still a stigma.
Like gastric bypass?
Yeah, so I did gastric sleeve. So it's not the same as gastric bypass, but it's in the same family. It's a weight loss surgery. And a lot of people think that's like the easy way out. And it's absolutely not. Like it's definitely an amazing tool to help. And the first 30 or 40 pounds after the surgery came off, pretty easily. Right. But the other 80, 90 pounds, like you really have to get on your game. You have to change your relationship with food and with movement and all this stuff. So it was a huge undertaking, literally and figuratively, to have to take the weight off and then keep it off. So it was 2011 that I had the surgery. Okay. So it's 9 years now since I had the surgery. Wow. You're looking good too. Congratulations.
Yeah, you look amazing, bro. Yeah. Thank you, bro. I was listening to the first chapter of your book. Thanks for sending the audio, by the way. Yeah. I love doing audiobooks. And I did not expect the fraudulent charges to be fast food. So you built it up very well in that way. I was like, okay. But I will say, what's up with banks just like holding your card over?
They need to get off that bullshit.
BS stuff.
Then you're like embarrassed because you're like at a dinner and you're like, oh, my card's declined. It's like, it's not really declined. They just like suspended it. It's like,
it doesn't make sense. Like they didn't even tell me. They didn't say, hey, like they didn't hit me up. There was no text alert. Hey, please call us because there's something wrong with your card. They didn't do anything.
They got text alerts for everything. Like
text alerts. Now, I wonder if they did back then. They probably still did. 2009, it was a long time ago.
But they never text you about that though. That's so annoying. Like,
you know what? Screw banks.
Yeah.
That's why I keep my money in the mattress.
Yeah.
Crypto, baby. Just bury it in the backyard. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
No, I mean, I've been declined at Target. I'm
Same.
just like, for no reason.
It's
spending
ridiculous.
like $150. It's like, what is going on?
And then you have to like step out of line for 15 minutes to be like, all right, sorry, I have to call my bank and like approve all these charges. And it's like, people.
Now how often,
Yeah.
even if you have no idea why, how often do you make an excuse when the decline happens? Oh, I know what happened here. I'll just try this other card.
I think I'm like, oh shit, that's weird. Boop, another card. I don't think, because I'm just like so like fast with it that I don't want to be like stuck on it too soon. Because I feel like I've always learned, especially being a child, when you explain too much, it makes it seem like you're lying.
That's very true.
You know what I mean?
That's very, very true.
So I've been quick to like, oh, just take this one. So yeah.
I was afraid of like looking bad or something.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh yeah. And maybe it was like a pretty cashier or something.
For
too.
sure,
I'm like,
for sure.
I'm not really broke. You know,
Yeah. You said that before.
No, I didn't say
Oh, I'm like, what the hell?
I didn't say, but I did say like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Oh yeah, I'll try this out. And I have no idea what actually happened. I'm like, I don't know why it's declined, but I'm gonna make an excuse.
That's so funny.
It didn't work. She didn't date me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you were with me
fuck.
like a couple of years ago. We were at Target and like my crap got declined. We're trying to buy stuff from, I was moving.
Yeah.
There's like families behind me, babies crying, they're getting groceries.
What did we do?
I'm embarrassed, man. You're just trying to get out of there. It's the worst situation to be in.
I mean, you're only embarrassed if you feel like you have something to hide and it's like you don't actually have the money. Like, you know, it's a personal thing.
It is a personal thing. But but your thing, I'm just curious about you in general, because I see you as an extremely confident human being.
Oh, I am now.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. So where did that come from? Like, how did
Oh
you
my God.
cultivate
Listen, like, okay, so same experience with you. Just being raised, my dad's a chef.
Okay. Oh.
So it's like I wasn't eating fast food, but I think that maybe just being younger, I was just a little chubbier. And I wouldn't say that I was overweight, but I was definitely like
You
happy.
got curves, girl. You got curves.
And first of all, my dad is like specializes in French cuisine, so I was like eating like, you know, really good shit. And like I knew what foie gras was like when I was like 11. So like it's
Did you eat escargot like as a little kid?
Yeah, I actually did.
You really?
Yes, and my dad was like making creme brulee and like just like all types of different shit and like burnt cream and just like.
So he was doing too much?
No, he was doing enough.
He was team just enough.
He was team just enough. # that's my guy. No, so I and my mother was cooking a lot too. My mother's from South America, so we were eating well. I think it was genetics. You know, I was just a little chubbier. But I was definitely bullied. I was definitely made fun of. And my brother is 13 months apart, and he was always really skinny. But the thing is this is what saved me. Me and him, my parents moved us to the suburbs.
Okay.
So we were like middle class, and we were the only like probably like 2 out of 50 black kids who went to a predominantly white school. And it just so happens that when you're black, you're a little cooler, I guess, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like
scarcity.
Yeah, scarcity. And so we had like all cool shit, and my parents dressed well. My dad was very well kept. And so we had like nice shit. And so we became really popular.
Nice. Okay.
And so when I started to go into high school, because we dressed better, which is kind of fucked up because, you know, when you dress better, you look better and people assume things. So that kind of helped me.
Okay.
But yeah, I definitely had to like reevaluate, because like now being a plus size model or curve model, it's like now I'm being praised for the way that I look now, which is so interesting. But I guess the universe forces you to deal with whatever you think about yourself.
Yeah.
And then it flips it around like, okay, wait, no, like you're actually really cool. You know?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that you had that experience.
Yeah.
And then you decided to go into the most highly scrutinized industry.
Oh, I didn't decide.
In the world.
This fell into my lap.
Did it really?
I was working when I first moved here. After I went to college, I came here. I was waitressing because my job transferred.
Okay.
I started working at the Soho House in Malibu, and I got scouted randomly.
Really?
I got scouted. I sent my pictures to Wilhelmina. The next week I was signed. First photo shoot was with Kim Kardashian.
What?
5 years later, I'm shooting for Estee Lauder. Like, yeah, I had no idea about being a model. I was like, I have no idea how to start. Didn't want it. Didn't know anything about it. But that's how the universe is like, you know,
that's
the path of least resistance.
But did you feel confident going on a shoot with Kim Kardashian for your very first shoot?
I had no fucking idea what I was doing. It was what's funny is my very first casting ever as a human being was that. And I booked my first casting. And yeah, I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea how to pose. I ended up shooting with this huge photographer who shoots Rihanna and like Lady Gaga. His name is Dennis Loopold. And my nails weren't done. And like, they didn't tell me any of that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know, but I didn't realize it was beauty. So what beauty means is just face, right? Okay. And they will do some body, but normally it's face. And you have to have your hands in the frame.
Oh, okay.
And this is why my nails are always done, and I was mortified because he pulls us up, and I knew who he was because he's huge. Yeah. And he grabs my hand and he goes, and he looks at me like, and then he doesn't say shit. He just looks at me with such fucking disappointment. He goes, and after that moment, I was like, oh my God, I fucked up.
I mean, you felt it right away like that.
Oh, 100%. I mean, he didn't hold anything against me, but that one look was enough for me to be like, get your shit together.
Wow.
It was really embarrassing because.
Wait, what did you do then? You didn't have, I mean, did you have
I kind of did some like maneuvering things where, I was like this, you know what I'm saying? Where I like wasn't like showing my nails, but they edited it because they can do it in post.
Of course. Yeah.
But it was embarrassing. And
that is crazy.
I was embarrassed. So
I just heard you say something too that I'm really curious about, by the way. I heard you say plus size model and then curve model. What's the?
Oh God. Okay. So it's this really weird word that they are trying to omit. Like they don't necessarily want to call people plus size because I guess it seems derogatory or I'm not sure. I think girls who, so anything over technically an 8, a size 8 is plus size.
Really?
Anything over an 8 in the modeling world, an 8.
Okay.
Technically it's a 6, but we'll go 8. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We'll
round up.
We'll round up. Yeah. But Wilhelmina and different agencies call their section of women who are just thicker curve.
Okay.
Plus size is what people would say like when they're casting.
Okay.
So like a commercial agent or like Cole's like, hey, we're looking for a plus size girl to play this role. They wouldn't say curve. It's just the agencies who know the term curve.
Got it. Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Do you care either way?
To me, I'm a fucking model. I don't give a fuck either way.
And that's the thing. It's like even having the designation, I get like you have to, if there's a certain body type you are looking for a particular shoot,
right?
I guess that it makes sense to have some kind of name for it. But I get that plus size almost sounds like there's a baseline of normality. Yeah. And you are that plus.
Yes.
And it's like, well, maybe.
It seems a little fucked up.
It seems a little fucked. But like curve is like, I can get down with that.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. And what people fail to realize is like Marilyn Monroe was a size 12.
She really?
She was a size 12.
She was dope too.
She was fire. So she was curving. So I don't know. I do think that it's a little less judgmental in the Black community based on your size. Okay. And it's just like a lot of my white girlfriends, I feel like they have this immense amount of pressure to be skinny.
Yeah.
It's heavy. Yeah. And in the Black world, it's like if you have a fat ass and like big boobs, like you're fine.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I do feel bad for that side because that seems like a lot of fucking pressure.
It's a lot of damn pressure.
It is. So
I was curious, was there a big mental shift seeing yourself transform from 330 and then, or however much you weighed and you lost 130 pounds? Because you said you were angrier when you were overweight.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm assuming there's a big mental and emotional shift as well.
Yeah.
Besides the physical.
There has to be, man. Because here's the thing. Like I grew up with a lot of anxiety and a lot of depression and a ton of stress and, you know, just being picked on and feeling not enough and not feeling lovable and all these things, which is like the cycle, right? It actually makes you eat more and then you get heavier and then you feel even worse about yourself. So it's like self-propagating loop. And so for me, I was positive. I was 1000% would have bet my money and my life that if I lost the weight, everything would be perfect.
Right.
Life would be perfect if I just wasn't the fat kid.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the case. It just wasn't the case because wherever you go, you're still there.
Yeah.
Right. And so I was still there. There was still me the entire time that was there. So I had dealt with the physical weight that I had put on, but I hadn't dealt with the mental weight, the emotional weight, the financial weight, like all these other types of weight that I was carrying around with me. I didn't really address those as much up front.
Yeah.
And so when I had that kind of initial, you know, dopamine hit of like, I can start buying smaller clothes now and stuff. It was great. And I still had the stress and the anxiety and the depression and everything else. And so it was exactly what you said, Matt. It was like diving into the mindset side of stuff and how I show up to the world. I mean, that became obviously the core of all the work that I do in the world. But like that is the thing. If you don't work on the mental side, it's like anything. It's like Jim Carrey says, I think it was Jim Carrey that says he hopes everybody gets all the money and fame they ever wanted, so they can see that it's still not going to make them happy.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with body.
Yeah.
Like it's just not going to make it happy. So anytime, and this is a big practice for myself, and it's something I'm really, really adamant about. At least for me, I don't tell anybody else how to live their lives, but something I invite people to consider to take a look at is where we are making anything the center of our universe. Our body, our relationship, our work, our notoriety, whatever it is. Whatever I am making the center of my universe, I feel like I need to protect with everything in my being, because if it fails or falls apart, I am then worthless.
Right.
And so I'm trying to take all that stuff away and say none of that stuff is the center of my universe. If anything's going to be the center of my universe, it's going to be my own peace and ease.
Yeah.
So I'm asking myself, how in this moment am I making my peace and ease the center of my universe?
Wow. Well said.
That's my shit.
Yeah, that's well said. Shit. You thought about that before.
I thought about that one a few times. Just a couple thousand.
times.
A couple thousand times.
If it's okay with you, we pulled up from your website the before and after.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I just think this is super inspiring for people that want to do anything crazy. Look at you, man. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you something really funny about that picture too that I've never told anybody.
Yeah, tell us.
And it's one of the greatest things ever. This is me, the one where I'm after. This is me in a dressing room. And if you look really closely on my right hip, you'll see the little security tag on the shirt.
Yo.
It's like he hadn't bought the shirt yet. He was just trying it on.
The shirt,
He was just trying it on.
Right here.
You see it, right? Oh my God, it's so amazing.
Right there.
And then on the left, the picture of me on the left there where I was bigger, that's actually, that shirt that I'm wearing is the Pace Center for Girls, which is actually a nonprofit that I used to be on the board of directors for back when I was in Florida.
Yeah.
And it worked with at-risk teen girls, typically Black and Hispanic teen girls who were in just really hard homes.
Yeah.
And they still lived at home, but they would come to this school every day to have like their middle and high school education, but they would also get advocacy that they wouldn't get at home.
Wow.
So it was really cool to be a part of that. And I love that my picture still has the Pace shirt because I
Hell yeah.
Pace so much. They were so good, man.
Full circle.
Full circle, man.
Wow.
God, that's so crazy.
Damn,
That picture
isn't that
kills
crazy?
me. And it was really funny too, because I did an interview with this guy called Cal Fussman. He's like this Pulitzer Prize winning journalist and like amazing dude. And then my other buddy, Mordecai, the two of them together were doing a,
You actually know someone named Mordecai?
I do know someone. He's in New York now. He used to be here.
Mordecai.
He is the dude.
Yeah.
So he and Cal together were writing this story where they were documenting 1 million pounds of weight loss. So like talking to a bunch of people and getting the stories of people.
Nice.
1 million pounds of weight loss. So at the end of the interview, they said to me, great interview. Thanks so much. When you get a chance, send us your hero shots, right? Your hero pictures. I'm like, oh, dope. I just had a photo shoot like 2 weeks ago. I'll send them to you right now. He's like, no. Those aren't your hero shots. I'm like, what are you talking about? He said, your hero shots are your before shots. And I said, why is that? He goes, because that's the person that decided something had to change.
Nice.
That's the one that actually had the balls, had the guts, had the heart.
I like
to say,
that.
I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going to show up for myself. And I was like, yo, I've never forgotten that. That's like a big deal. So for everybody, like everybody listening and everybody just thinking about this stuff, you're not the hero when you obtain or attain or achieve.
Yeah.
You're the hero when you decide, I'm going to change some shit. I'm going to actually take responsibility for my life and change some shit.
That's tight. Whoever thought of that, that's fucking tight.
Mordecai. It's a Mordecai.
That's some Mordecai ass shit, yo.
That's some
Mordecai ass shit. Damn. What ethnicity is Mordecai?
That's a great question. I think he's a Jewish kid, but that's not
Okay.
That's not a
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I don't know. I'll have to ask him.
Yeah, but does he looks white or is he?
He looks white.
Okay, cool.
He looks white.
Damn. I'm like, what type of ethnicity names their child Mordecai? Is it a black thing? Have you met anybody named Mordecai other than?
Yo, you can be called Mordecai if you want. I'll call you that.
Oh, you want to go that far?
Corticai.
Corticai.
Oh my God. Am I going to change my Instagram name to Corticai?
Okay, I just want to go on record and say Corticai does sound like an erectile dysfunction medication. I'm just saying, if you're struggling, take Corticai.
Corticai. Like cortisol.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that's
fuck.
maybe not the way to go.
Don't lose the passion. Try Corticai.
Aw, man.
I do want to say though, it seems when you're on the beginning stages of a journey of trying to accomplish something, it's harder because you don't have the momentum yet, and you're like, you have no idea how am I going to get there. So I understand the idea of this is your hero shot, because for you to make that decision and commit without knowing all of the factors of how am I going to do it, it's a harder decision to make versus if you're closer to that goal or just like, okay, yeah, I just need to lay off the chips or a little bit, or whatever.
Right. But that's a funny thing though that you say that, man, because in everything that we want to create, there is such a desire for certainty of the path. And the interesting thing is we've never had certainty about anything in our lives. And people will fight me on it. Oh, I had certainty that I was going to, come home from work or whatever. I'm like, no, you didn't. You get hit by a car or something. Like, you have no idea. We have no frame of reference for certainty.
Right.
And yet we chase it constantly, right? So for me, with the weight loss stuff, when people say like, how did you lose 130 pounds? I say I didn't. I lost 1 pound 130 times.
Wow.
Right? Because I can do that. I can do the little chunk, right? So I call that JFT productivity. And that stands for just for today productivity. Like just for today, I'm going to focus on what I can do today. Tomorrow's none of my fucking business. I may not even be here tomorrow. And the more energy I spend on tomorrow, I cannot actually be here with today.
True.
And so I was focusing on, for power of now. So I'm focusing on just for today. And the other thing I was focusing on too, I don't know if you've heard this term before. Have you heard of NSVs?
No.
NSVs when it comes to weight loss. So an NSV stands for a non-scale victory.
Okay.
Right. So when you're losing weight, they don't want you to just focus on the number on the scale. They want you to focus on non-scale victories. So the first time I was able to sit in an airplane seat and actually close the belt, that was a non-scale victory.
That's
tight. And that's like, even if I had lost no weight that week on the scale, but that happened, that's a non-scale victory. And I remember before that where I was too ashamed to ask for the extender.
Okay.
And so I would put both sides of the belt underneath my shirt and then put the shirt over. So when they walked by, it looked like, it was, but they couldn't actually see it.
Yeah.
And so being able to actually connect the belt was like, I teared up in the plane, which nowadays you don't want to do anything resembling crying on a plane because you start wondering. But yeah, that was a big deal. The non-scale victories.
Yeah. I didn't even know they had an extender.
They do have an extender. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I just refused.
Yeah.
I refused to ask for it.
I get that.
Yeah. I think that's really powerful because you need so many different forms of motivation because you have that little voice in your head that's saying, okay, I was good this week, or, oh man, I tried for a month and I'm not there yet, so you need those different moments of motivation. And especially with fitness, you reach a certain point where it's not just about how much you weigh. It's like, I want to be healthy for my future kids. I want to be able to play a sport that I love. I want to be able to just say that I can run a mile without stopping, So I think some of those things can hit your emotions in a different way versus sometimes numbers can lose their value over time.
Of course.
It's just like, okay, whatever. Okay, I'm not a certain number, whatever. It's just binary. Yeah. But those things, like what you said, it reached an emotional peak for you where it had made you embarrassed before when somebody, and you were hiding it.
Yep.
So if you could avoid that, that's more valuable than a number.
Right.
Because a number you can hide.
Of course.
You can just lie to somebody.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Nobody knows walking down the street. They have no idea how much you weigh and you can say whatever you want. It doesn't matter. But it is really important to find what it is that you value, because I think a lot of people think that the measure of fitness or wellness is the number on the scale or the six pack or the size of clothes you wear or whatever it is. But it really is, like you said, like, do you feel healthy in your body? That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Like, do you feel healthy? And that's the only measure. It should just be for you. Like, I am not trying to get a six pack. Yeah. I am not trying to be Ryan Reynolds, although that would be good. Just for if I could be Ryan Reynolds for a week.
Yes.
Like what? Just one.
Just 1 week.
There was a dude. So we were at an A-Fest, one of the Mind Valley events. We were at an A-Fest in Sardinia in Italy a couple of years ago. And this person brought her boyfriend, and he was like the Estonian Channing Tatum. That's what we all called him, right?
Amazing.
And so me and my boy Sam, did you met Sammy?
With Sammy. We love Sammy. We love Sammy.
So Sammy and I had this joke, and it was called 1 nut 2 weeks. Yeah. The joke. And we would just walk by each other and say 1 nut 2 weeks. And people were like, what are y'all talking about? And the joke was we would give 1 nut to look like him for 2 weeks.
I'm not mad at that.
So if I could be Ryan Reynolds, because the dude, Ryan Reynolds, if you're listening, because I know you are, I hate you. Let me tell you why. You're not allowed to be good looking and a good actor and funny. Pick 2 of 3.
Yeah, I get that. Let me
have something.
Yeah. He's kind of like corny, cheesy funny, but
he's dad joke funny.
Yeah, he's
a dad
definitely
now.
Dad. Yeah.
He is dad. It's true. Yeah. Do you not like dad jokes? Yeah, I gotta go.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'll laugh, but I'll be like, whatever.
Yo,
so you've been fake laughing at me?
Oh no, I've been actually laughing at you that you think those jokes are funny. So you know what I'm saying? It's different. It's different.
I want to drop my 2 favorite dad jokes on you and just see if you genuine. And I don't fake it for me. I want you to be real. Okay,
I'm gonna be real.
All right, and one of them is actually a Tracy Morgan.
Oh my God, and he fucking loves Tracy Morgan.
This was on 30 Rock, by the way. It was a dad joke he told. Okay, so here's my 2 favorite ones.
All right.
First one is, hey Court, I'm reading a book on anti-gravity. It's impossible to put down.
Oh my God.
Yo, that shit is fire.
Corn cheese.
Much fire. So much fire. Those are barbecue Fritos. Okay. All right.
Barbecue Fritos. Hey, them barbecue Fritos.
Yo, I would devour
them twists.
Yo,
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The little curly ones? Are you talking about the chili cheese?
Oh, no, I was talking about chili cheese.
You were talking about chili cheese.
But you're talking about the corkscrews.
Yeah. Both are fire.
Those are both fire. Are you ready for joke number 2?
Oh God, I don't know.
Here's Tracy Morgan. This is Tracy Morgan. Okay. I'm going to try and I don't know if I can do his voice. Somebody stole my mood ring. I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about that.
It's going to be a no for me, dog.
No.
I think I heard that one. I think I did hear that one.
He also said, I don't know why everybody's so obsessed with brunch. What's the big deal of combining breakdancing and lunch?
Okay, yeah. Okay, that's funnier. Tracy Morgan does have some jams. I'm not gonna lie. He is pretty fucking funny.
Fine, whatever. Cancel me.
Yep.
No, there's
Jason Goldberg here is motherfucking canceled.
There's like a different style of comedy like 10 years ago than now.
Yeah.
Like how corny is Jerry Seinfeld?
Oh, super cool.
But he's a legend.
It's Steve Martin too, like legendary stuff. Like Steve Martin had a joke back in the 70s that every time I hear it, maybe this is why I have a love for comedy, and maybe you do this with music, maybe you do this with modeling. When I'll see something way different than you will.
100%.
You will see the smallest things. You'll be like, oh my God, I cannot believe the photographer. That's beautiful. I'm like, I mean,
it's all right.
It's cool, but So with comedy, I feel like I do that. So I watched Steve Martin tell a joke in the 70s. I mean, I didn't watch it personally because I wasn't alive, but I watched a video of him telling in the 70s where he says, there are two kinds of people in the world. One type is really good with words, and the other...
Yeah.
That's hilarious to me because the intricacy of like how you put that together is so
very
smart. So it's more like I guess it's more like it's like a golf tap kind of a, laugh. And not just a belt. I feel like I'm going to leave.
No, you're fine. So I'm more like a Eddie Murphy raw delirious type.
Yeah, sure.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Of course. Same.
Yeah, for sure. But I want to admit something, which is kind of crazy because there's a couple things that I have not seen in my life. And a couple of them are Star Wars. I've never seen anything Star Wars.
I don't like Star Wars.
I've never seen anything Star Trek. I've maybe seen half of an episode of these two TV shows that I'm about to list. Friends and Seinfeld.
Yeah, I've seen like one of each.
Okay, great. Love that. Great.
All four
great.
of those things,
right,
I'm like, take it or leave it.
Perfect.
I'm fine.
Good to know.
I love everything you just listed.
Really? See? And that's the majority. Like, people tell me all the time, they're like, you don't watch Seinfeld? I'm like, no. They're like, you don't watch Seinfeld. I'm like,
I don't understand the dynamic of it. I'm like, what? So they're all friends and they're just kicking it, or what? I don't get it. Are they dating each other? Like
Seinfeld was the original Friends. It's like they're all friends in New York, and they're just going about their lives. And Jerry Seinfeld is a stand-up comic, and hilarity ensues.
Okay.
But see, the thing is, I loved Curb. So Curb Your Enthusiasm is one of the greatest shows ever. But that's the same dude.
Oh,
it's Larry David.
Yeah, he wrote Seinfeld. Right.
Yeah. But it's different. Seinfeld is
different.
It's because they're both doing observational humor.
Yeah.
But there's just something about, maybe it's because Larry David's character is so unlikable.
That's what it is.
And a bit likable at the same time.
I like him so much.
Me too. Okay, so then what do you think?
Motherfucking Mocha Joe.
I actually used that as a line on Hinge. Some woman said she loved Curb. Yeah. And I said after quarantine's over, we're going to go to Mocha Joe's.
I love it.
It was a good line. So what do you think about the black Larry David? And first of all, I want to see if you can guess who that is.
JB Smoove?
No.
Oh, you're saying like there's an actual, like there's someone that's in the industry that's like, okay, what you're saying. Black Larry David, let me think, hold on.
One of the most brilliant writers in the game right now.
He's a writer.
I'm
going to say Kenny Barris?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, did you watch Black AF?
I didn't like it.
What?
I'm going to tell you why. I thought it was great. I thought it was written great.
Okay.
I thought the aesthetics were very pleasing. I thought they were dressed well. I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was a great tale of Black success. I thought all of that was amazing.
Yeah.
What I didn't like and I couldn't get jiggy with was the disrespect from the children to the parents. It was so prevalent that I couldn't get down. I was like, it was so distracting that the kids were like, shut the fuck up, Dad, that I couldn't like focus
You're like, this isn't realistic.
It's not realistic. It's like no black parent, I don't give a fuck how rich you are, if you're Will, Jada, anything, you're not allowing your black children to say shut the fuck up to you.
That's it. But that's a cultural thing though, because I think in white households, it's a lot more like, they're just expressing themselves.
Oh, no.
It's like, no, that doesn't happen.
And so it just, and obviously, like, I'm not trying to say that negates the whole thing, but for me, it was just like, it was so distracting because it was happening so often.
It did. You're right.
It happened so often.
Every episode, yeah.
That I was like, literally every episode.
Yeah.
So I was like, are they trying to make a point but this isn't realistic.
Yeah. So what do you think about Blackish?
Okay. I like Blackish.
Okay.
Surprisingly, my little cousin is actually the baby on Blackish on a couple episodes.
No way.
Yeah, my little cousin.
You mean the most important episode?
Yeah, the most important episode that was season 4 about Colin Kaepernick. They held it off though from showing it.
Really?
So I think it just released like within the past week. It's on Hulu now, but it's season 4. I think maybe episode 6.
Okay.
Don't quote me, but I like Blackish. I love Tracy Ellis Ross.
Isn't it interesting how that episode was probably so controversial at the time that they felt they couldn't air it, and now they're like, now we have to air it.
Or did they do the opposite thing of, we know this is going to be great, maybe we'll hold on to it?
No, I think.
Oh, you think?
No, I mean, there was people like boycotting the NFL and stuff when Kaepernick was first doing it. So
that had to be a network thing though, because I'm sure Kenya was like, put this out right now.
Do you like Blackish?
I love Blackish.
Okay, because you love Anthony Anderson.
I love Anthony Anderson. Yeah,
got it.
Actually, I told you.
That's what I was saying.
I saw him yesterday. He was wearing a shirt with him and Tracy Ellis Ross with like orange slices in their mouths.
Amazing.
It was like the sweetest thing ever to see that.
Love.
I love it. But if I look at it through that lens, the Black AF thing, that could anything that takes you out of the reality of what you're watching would be super distracting. So I get that. I wasn't fully super on board, and I love Rashida Jones. I wasn't fully on board with her as the wife.
Okay, I agree with that.
Yeah, that was for me. That was the only small thing.
Yes, I agree. Do you think it's just the way she played it, or what do you think?
Something about the way she played it, and I know it's based off of his actual family.
Okay.
Because his wife, they actually look a little similar. And then they got divorced. I think they got back together. I don't know what's happening. Whatever. But I think she was trying to play like the actual wife, but for some reason it read a little more like, she was on The Office. It read more to me like an Office type 100%. Feel as opposed to what I think it was meant to be. So that was a disconnect for me.
I feel bad for her because I feel like she gets a bad rap because she's Quincy Jones' daughter and she's half Black. And it's like, she don't look half Black. I feel bad.
She does in certain lighting and certain outfits, but it's not
to get her on a good day.
She's hot though. I think
she's beautiful. Really 100%.
Hot. She was amazing on The Office. Did you ever watch Angie Tribeca?
No.
Nobody has watched that show. Do you remember The Naked Gun?
No.
Matthew, please.
Yeah, another Naked Gun.
So you do?
It was like a spoof.
It's like a grandpa classic.
Okay, so you guys are grandpa dads. Got it. Makes sense.
Leslie Nielsen. So OJ was actually in Naked Gun.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
OJ was an actor, and people forget that.
Was he?
Yeah.
Yes, OJ was an actor. Absolutely.
In what?
He did a bunch of commercials.
He did like Hertz Rent-A-Cars commercials, but then he actually was like an actual comedic actor. He turned into some brainwashed robot in Naked Gun, where he was like flipped on and was gonna like kill the president or something like that. Some crazy
no
stuff.
Fucking way.
I swear, y'all need to watch Naked Gun. I mean, you're in quarantine, please. Just
Naked Gun.
Watch Naked Gun. It's amazing.
Just look it up, Court, on the laptop.
I'm like,
we can pull that shit up.
Naked Gun.
Yeah, and there was 3 of them. There was Naked Gun, there was Naked Gun 2, and there was like Naked Gun 33 1/3 or something. And it was a classic dad joke movie.
That's why people were freaking out so much with the trial, because they were like, he's a national treasure. There's no way he did this. He was on Naked Gun. He was on the Buffalo Bills. He was like, wasn't he a Heisman Trophy winner or something crazy?
That's your alibi.
There's no way. He's the example of success.
Really can't be that easy. The answer.
Oh, turn that down. Oh, you got it pulled up? You got OJ?
Yeah.
Where's he at?
This fool done burnt himself.
But keep watching. It's just like,
is that him?
Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't even recognize. He looks so skinny in this.
He just got shot by everybody, and now everything that could possibly go wrong to him is what's going on.
Oh my God.
They're all just waiting for him to die.
The bear trap.
You're lying.
There's no way this man is a murderer.
Wow.
There's just no way.
Wow. That is insane.
Good old Naked Gun, man.
There's something about old movies, how they did them, and that's lost a little. I don't know if it's the budgets or what it is, but
budgets, egos.
You think OJ did that shit?
I mean, is there a question?
What's
your thought?
Oh no, he definitely did that shit.
Okay.
But I was just
it's a trap.
Everybody else felt like that.
It's a trap.
It was the thing. Like, so do you think this mic is picking up your voice? I'm like,
is this my voice?
That's the question. It's. I mean, and the thing is that like they have, I don't know what it's called. They have like a thing called survivor guilt, right? Have you heard it before? Whatever that is for him, like I feel like he has the guilt of like I did it and I didn't get caught. And that's why he did all that stupid shit with like stealing memorabilia. You remember he got arrested. He actually went to prison.
Yeah.
For stealing like memorabilia and trying to resell it. He's like, I need to feel like I paid penance for what I did. And since I got off, I got to do something else bad so I can feel. It's like cut.
Interesting.
There's something there, man.
Did you see, I forget what it's called, but it came out about a year ago with Sacha Baron Cohen.
Okay.
And the interviews that, it's called American
Who is
something.
America? Who is America?
Who is America?
Yeah.
And how he went on, he was talking to OJ. He was like, so if I want to kill my wife, how would I do it?
He actually had an interview with OJ?
Yeah.
He asked OJ.
Man.
Oh my God.
You've never seen it?
I have not seen that episode.
Yo, honestly, you need to watch it.
What did he do? What was his response?
I think he was like, man, I don't know. Like, don't ask me that. Like, he was trying to play it off, but like, he's like, so if I'm going to kill my wife, like, how would I do this? How would I go about this? But he was in character. So he was like, obviously, like, OJ didn't know who he was. But it's hilarious. And it's a great watch.
I don't know that I could ever be that fearless, even in character.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if it's a movie where everybody's acting fine, but where everybody's not in on the joke.
Yeah.
Do you think he gets nervous asking those questions? Or
I think you just got to go all in.
He does though. Have you watched other episodes of that show?
I think I've seen one where he was like at a quinceañera or something like that.
That's the one I was thinking about.
Oh my God.
That is the most foul, amazing, and yes, all of it. I'm Jewish. And it's wow. Watch the quinceañera episode, not with any children around.
Please don't watch with children around.
But definitely watch it.
Yeah. What is it called? What is America?
Who is America?
Who is America?
Who is America?
There's something about having an accent that almost gives you a pass at doing something disgusting.
Yes.
You're like, oh, I don't know. I'm not from here. Like,
that's a good point.
Wow, I never thought about that.
It's a little shield that you have. I can just do something stupid and people will be like, oh, he's fine. He doesn't even know English. It's okay.
So OJ should have just had an accent. He would be fine.
I mean, shit, he was black and he still got off, so he was doing something right. I mean, god damn, that wouldn't happen today.
I heard of Brentwood. Like I had never, like now I didn't grow up in LA. I moved here 3 years ago. So now when I drive through Brentwood, all I think about is OJ.
Yeah.
OJ and Kato. That's all I think about.
Man, wow.
It's realness, man. It's realness.
Is he in jail right now?
Probably.
Oh.
Wait, which one? Kato? Or because I think Kato went to jail for something else entirely different too. If he's not in jail now, by the time this is released,
he'll be in jail.
He'll be in jail.
Yeah. Wow. Damn. Well, speaking of OJ and black people, let's talk about Wu-Tang Clan.
Speaking of Prison Break.
That was the best segue I've ever heard in my entire life. Speaking of OJ.
I knew he was black.
2%.
Right.
I mean, Wu-Tang's for the children. I mean, that's just all there is.
Yeah.
I was a rapper for a number of years. I'm never going to stop being a rapper. I will always.
I had no idea that you were a rapper.
Wait, did you, before today?
Before today.
Are you kidding? We never talked about it.
No, it got mentioned.
But we didn't dive into it.
I don't think we dove in deep.
When we met you, we literally divulged all of our souls. Like, oh my God, we love you. I'm going to tell you everything about me. And
we did this. Yeah, we were just all of us.
We went in.
We did go in.
I missed that.
That's the thing. It's a thing to miss. Yeah. Wow. So yes, I was a rapper for a number of years. I was always into hip hop from a very, very young age. I remember the first two CDs I ever bought. I was 13 years old. I bought them from my neighbor's house at a garage sale. Was Dr. Dre's The Chronic and Fresh Prince and Jazzy Jeff, Summertime.
Wow.
Couldn't be further on the spectrum from each other of the two.
Balance.
I wanted to be well-rounded. Yeah, I want to be well-rounded. So I got into that really early. Then I wasn't really feeling West Coast rap. And I lived on the East Coast anyway. So I wasn't really feeling that. So Nas became a staple for me. Wasn't even Jay. Nas was a staple for me. And I remember being 16 years old with my mom. And because I went everywhere with her because I was only child and she's a single mother, I remember her taking me to a mammogram appointment. And I'm the little kid, 15, 16, sitting in the lobby waiting for her. And I had the Nas, it was written CD. And in CDs back in the day, I'm sure y'all both remember, I hope you do, Courtney.
That little pamphlet that pulls out?
Not just the pamphlet, it's the pamphlet that has the lyrics.
Yes.
Remember some of them have the lyrics?
Yes, I remember.
So I remember sitting there because I wanted to feel like a rapper. Yeah. And I would just rewrite his lyrics on paper just so I could feel what it felt like to write rhymes. They weren't even mine. It's just the muscle memory of writing rhymes. And then I remember, and this is something that if either of you know this song, I will be thoroughly impressed because I've yet to hear anybody who knows it. There was a group called Blase Blase. And they had a song called Danger.
No.
When the East is in the house, oh my God, danger. Okay, so you don't remember.
Nope.
So that was the first instrumental I ever wrote to. I had a tape where on one side it was the track and on the other side it was the instrumental.
Hell yeah.
And I was writing verses to that when I was 17. So I started rapping around 16, 17. When I was 19-ish, I fell in with a crew that was already established that was actually making beats and doing shows. I was just doing it I had some idiot friends that were just stoners and we would rap, in houses and stuff. But this is a group that was really doing it. And so they brought me in. I was the only white kid. It was all black dudes. There was one Palestinian dude and then all black dudes. And then it was me. And they would mess with me all the time. Anytime.
They were roasting your ass?
They would roast me so hard. If anything that had to do with anything black, they would get on me. So I'd be like, yo, I like that shirt, man. They're like, why?
Because it's black?
No, I just like the shirt.
Just to fuck with you.
Just to fuck with you, which was amazing. So we did that and we started doing shows all over the place. And then we became one of the staple groups in Orlando. So anytime a big act came into town, they would come to us and say, hey, do y'all want to open for so-and-so act? But they also didn't want a little Wu-Tang up there. There was like 9 of us.
Yeah.
They didn't want a little Wu-Tang. So they would say, listen.
Dang, 9? Oh my God.
What was it called? What were you guys called?
PDOX, Paradox Unit.
That's tight.
PDOX.
PDOX.
Unit. Yeah. So some people they came from, a lot of them were family. They were cousins and brothers that came from Memphis and from Toronto and moved to Orlando. All of them ended up in Orlando together. And so they were, they made beats and they were like incredible. And some of them are still making beats. One of them is a dude, he goes by the name of I Make Mad Beats, all one word. And he wears a mask over his face and nobody ever sees what he actually looks like. He's such a dope producer. And his brother Czar. And
AKA Marshmallow.
Yeah, AKA Marshmallow. And so we started doing shows and stuff. And so when it was time to open up for an act, they would say, y'all can open, but y'all can't all open.
Yeah.
So pick. So internally, it would be like, Twista came in and my boy Rugged, the Palestinian dude, was like, I have to.
Not actually Twista.
No.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, this is like when the big acts would come into town. And
you're saying Twisted came in. Okay. Got it. Okay.
So he would come in and then like we had, who else came in? like Ja came in at one time. Ja Rule came in before he got.
What's my motherfucking name?
Yeah, that was what we did. Yeah. It's before he got completely obliterated for singing by 50, who then started singing and now we have Drake. So full circle.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happened there. And then, these acts would come into town. So for me, like Wu was always a big thing for me. I was always a huge fan of Wu-Tang.
Yeah.
And so that was one of the ones that I got to do. And it was just, emceeing and performing was such a big thing for me because also as a white kid, and this is kind of around Eminem time a little bit, but as a white kid, like I noticed, and actually it wasn't just as a white kid, this is rap in general has one of the most judgmental audiences in the world.
Yeah.
Everybody in the crowd not everybody, a lot of people in the crowd have their arms crossed like, I could do that.
Yeah.
And so you feel that energy from the stage. You're like just trying to do your thing. And there's some people who are into it and like really, but then there's always like, I should be able to, why am I not on stage? Right?
Yeah.
And so I started realizing very early on, if I want to feel any semblance of like love from the audience, I need to, and I didn't have the words to articulate it back then, but I know it now from the work I've done, is I need some way to lower their resistance to me being up here on stage.
Yeah.
And that's where I started injecting comedy into what I was doing.
Hell yeah.
So I would either be self-deprecating or I would just make jokes or whatever.
It seems like that's what Eminem would do too.
Totally.
And Little Dicky. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Totally. Little Dicky was a marketer, by the way, before he became a rapper.
Yeah.
Really? He was in marketing.
Same with Hoodie Allen. He used to work for Google.
Really?
Yeah. And then he became a rapper. He was like marketing for Google.
That is and
that's
I don't know if
funny.
You know, and we were talking about Jay Shetty before. Jay Shetty, who everybody thinks is like just this monk that came out of nowhere and went viral. He worked for Accenture, one of the biggest consulting companies in the world, helping like 400 executives manage their social media presence.
Wow.
So he is smart. There are people that are smart. They have real skills that come and then they layer their talent on top. And for Dicky wanted to be a comedian. He didn't want to be a rapper.
Yeah.
He was using rap as a vehicle to be a comedian.
Yeah.
And realized he's actually a fucking really
have you seen Dave?
Of course, yeah, both seasons.
I love it.
He is the freestyle he does at the end of season 1.
Yeah.
Where he's like walking around the studio, like inside the studio.
When he was with another rapper. Who was the rapper?
YG.
It was YG.
Yeah. Yo.
That shit was good.
Yo, and you've seen the video for Save That Money?
Yes.
I don't think I have.
This is the one where he makes the rap video without spending any money. He wants to do it all.
Oh, right.
So, but that video alone is such a lesson in creativity and resourcefulness. Like, to me, Dicky is a genius.
Yeah.
So that's what I figured out was being on stage and having some comedy. If I have you laughing either at me or with me, I don't really care. Then when I do my whole rap thing, they're like, all right, he's fine.
He's funny. He's okay. Yeah, he's chill.
I'll let it go. And that's what I brought into the whole personal growth thing, because I think personal growth and self-help gets really fucking serious sometimes.
Yeah.
So if you bring the comedy element in, I call it, instead of self-help, I call it stealth help.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's kind of like under the radar. Like you're being entertained, you're having fun, and without you even knowing it, you're like bettering your life. So for me, that was a big thing to get over people feeling resistance to me as a rapper, which is bringing some comedy in. That's where it started.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It's kind of like if you come at it with I'm an expert and I know more than you and I'm better than you, then they're going to have resistance versus no, maybe I just have a different perspective than you or whatever it is. But it's interesting you bring up Lil Dicky because we did a show with him. I want to say 2017 in Milwaukee, and it was some radio show. So he played right before us. It was Lil Dicky, us, and then the Chainsmokers.
Okay.
Or I think it was, I don't know, whatever. I don't remember the order. But he played his last.
Remember that order? That's important.
It's very important.
Very important. You better correct your shit. You better make sure.
Your story just went to hell.
Yeah, I'm just saying though. You better make sure.
I think it was Lil Dicky, the Chainsmokers, and then us.
That's right.
That's
right, boo.
That's what's up.
Which actually fucked us up because people started leaving. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't actually
timing.
Good. But still, though.
Yeah. But Lil Dicky played his last song. He played "Let Me Freak." I don't know if you guys are familiar with that song.
Let me freak.
God damn it, let me freak. Anyway.
Like, let me fuck, but like, let me freak.
Right.
Yeah.
He takes off his pants. He's wearing whitey tighties. He brings a girl on stage. He kind of dances on him. It's like his whole gig. It's amazing. It's genius.
Yeah.
So our green room's right next to each other. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go, it's chill. We're both artists playing this. I'm going to go say what up to him, whatever. I go into his green room. He just got off stage. He's still in his whitey tighties. Wow. I'm just like, what up, Lil Dicky? Just want to say what up. Good to meet you. And he's like, yeah, man, like so nice. Just completely not acknowledging that he's in whitey tighties. So needless to say, I kind of got out of there pretty quick. But
yeah, but that level of degaff is like, I really.
Yeah, he does not give a fuck.
I want that for myself.
Yeah.
I want that level of degaff.
Yeah.
I don't have it.
Yeah.
I don't have it yet.
Yeah.
I still give a lot of fucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
Maybe one day.
Yeah.
Maybe he was really high though. Is that possible, Matt?
Why does he strike me as somebody who's sober?
Because he looks so sober.
He looks like very sober.
But I think he at least smokes.
He gotta smoke.
He's got it. You know what's funny? I did not smoke at all until I moved to California.
Oh, really?
I was the only rapper ever in your entire life that and all my boys did.
Yeah, but did you get contact high? Smoking in a studio, I feel
That's
like.
a good question. I probably did.
Yeah, you just didn't know.
I probably did. Yeah. I remember my mom telling me one time, she's like, yeah, I smoked weed once, but I didn't get high. I just ate like 7 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I'm like, yeah, Ma, you were
Then you was high as hell. Wow.
high as a motherfucker. Oh my God,
7?
Oh my God. Do you want to hear a funny story about my parents getting high?
Yes.
So my parents, I'm pretty sure my dad sold weed when he was younger, but he'll never admit that. But my brother gave my parents an edible for their anniversary. And it was like a little gummy bear, right? Yeah. And so he gave it to them and they went on this beautiful date. They're from St. Paul, so they were in St. Paul. And I guess they went to like a, like Benihana, but like an Ichiban place, like a teppanyaki, whatever, you're like you're cooking on the grill. And my parents took the edible and I remember getting a phone call from my brother and him being like, I gotta go get mom and dad because the restaurant won't serve them because they can't stop laughing and they can't order. So like every time the waiter came by, my parents couldn't stop laughing in order to order. And so they're like, okay, we're gonna have to ask you guys to leave. I'm like,
asked your parents to a teppanyaki, a place where they make volcanoes out of onions. They
throw eggs in their hats.
Throw eggs in their hats.
Yeah, my parents couldn't order because they were laughing so hard. And then my dad was like trying to tell them, okay, let's be serious. And then they would come back and they would start laughing. So my brother had to go get my parents.
That is epic.
I know.
That way, and so wait, you said, and I didn't know this about you.
Yeah.
Your mom is South American, you said?
Yes, from South America.
And your dad
is black and he's from St. Louis.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
cool. That's so wait,
Isn't
so did you get fired? Did you get like spice from your mom?
What do you mean like?
Like is your mom like a fiery like or is she more chill?
Matthew?
I mean,
Careful.
No, that sauce she gave me was so spicy
was she like personality wise, was she spicy?
Yeah, she like
I thought you were talking about like cooking
Oh,
wise.
no,
like just attitude.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit.
She's very like, what? He does this? I can't believe he does that. Oh my God. Like what? What is wrong with this person?
Talking about you?
Yeah. No.
She's not talking about you though.
Yeah, she's a little spicy. Not normally as spicy as you when you meet a Latin woman, like that kind of spice.
Yeah.
No. So thank God, because that would have been a lot of emotionals mixed up with my parents, and my dad's super cool.
Yeah.
So I feel like I got the chill side.
Okay, so you got the chill. So where did your sass come from?
Where did that come from?
Same question to you, Matt.
I think it came from I was watching My Super Sweet 16. And I asked my parents to throw me that kind of party, and they did. And ever since then, I've been pretty sassy.
It all downhill from
I'm pretty
there.
sassy since then. My dad got me a fucking limo that every time we got out of the car, the driver got out and rolled out on red carpet.
That is amazing.
Oh my God. If you were my friend in St. Paul, Minnesota, and you were at that birthday party, you know what the fuck's up.
So you're spoiled. You're hella spoiled.
Yeah.
That show used to be so epic too. Who was the one they did an episode?
Tiana Taylor.
No. Yeah, I remember that. No, but there was that's a really good one.
Yeah.
No, there was one. It was somebody's son.
Oh, Aaron Reed.
Okay.
Yeah. So, what Aaron is the kid's name? What's the L.A. Reed?
Yeah.
L.A. Reed. Yeah, Aaron Reed.
That party was like. So wait, which one was it that really inspired you to say, I want that kind of party? Do you remember a specific episode or was it just all of it?
Honestly, I think it was like, whose daughter was it? I want to say it was Tiana Taylor, but I think it may have been before that. Or it was like one of Diddy's kids or something when they were really young.
Yeah, I remember Diddy's kids having something.
That's right. I forgot about that.
But that show was huge.
The show was incredible. And it's so funny. Like, look at two of the biggest shows in MTV history. It was My Super Sweet 16 and
True Life,
but 16 and pregnant.
Oh,
So you see,
Teen Mom.
Teen Mom. They exploited the worst possible thing you could give an angle of a teenager of. That's where they said, we're going to be successful off of this.
They did that.
Worked.
It worked.
It's so, but then they said, there were actually studies about this because then there were people saying, is having a show like Teen Mom or 16 and Pregnant, is that actually enticing or encouraging young girls to get pregnant? And they said,
I remember that.
Yeah. But didn't they do some kind of study and they actually showed that like the rates were going down because they saw what it actually had, like what it looks like when you actually have a child. It's not as glamorous as you think it's going to be as a 16-year-old.
I mean, that would make sense because that shit did not look glamorous. I mean, like it was a lot of drama.
I watched a lot of that. I'm not happy. I'm not proud to say that. I watched a lot. Like
100%.
Especially, what was it, Tyler and what was the girl that gave it up? That gave the baby up?
Oh, yeah. The couple, she had braces.
Yeah.
And I know.
They were so sweet.
They were so sweet. But then it also turned me off when I was watching that girl. What's her name? Who became like a Instagram porno model after? Farrah.
Yes.
That little wench.
I thought I saw Farrah and her kid.
She 100% lives in LA.
No, but this is back when I was in Orlando.
Oh, okay.
Because she had been in Miami. I think she lived in Miami. So I'm like, it's possible she could be here. So I was with my cousin and my cousin's wife. My cousin couldn't give two shits about this. But my cousin's wife was like, I think that's Farrah and whatever the daughter's name is. I'm like, I think it is too. So we're doing this really weird thing where we're like, keep circling around. It wasn't her. The poor woman probably thought we were about to like jack her purse or steal her baby.
Yeah.
And we're just like all around her like, I think it's Farrah. I think it's her baby.
Wow.
So in conclusion, really,
it was not her.
It was not her.
It wasn't her, basically.
Anybody's wondering.
Hilarious.
It was not her.
Damn, yeah. I was obsessed. Did you watch that show, Matt?
Yeah, I did watch that show. It's kind of interesting. That's almost like the Dare thing where they say, oh, people that did Dare when they were younger, it made them want to do drugs more. You see the Teen Mom thing and you're like, I want a baby. I want to be like her.
Yeah, I want
a show.
Yeah.
Exactly. I want Dare Kid of the Year and I'm turned. So shit they hard.
How do you win Dare Kid of the Year?
I think I'm
It's like none of those kids were doing drugs. So
Listen,
just like, I did the least amount of drugs.
The biggest narc is the one who gets to be the Dare Kid of the Year.
That's true. I'm going to find my certificate though. But I did win Dare Kid of the Year. I went to JJ Hill Montessori and I won Dare Kid of the Year. And they gave me a t-shirt and a hat.
They shouldn't make that a competition.
They made me sign something like, I will never do drugs. I'm like, Coachella, motherfucker.
Well, there had to be a Coachella clause, right? I mean, how would you not have a Coachella clause in a contract?
The fuck?
I actually remember my very, very first rap I ever wrote and performed was in 7th grade. It was an anti-drug rap, and I did it on the loudspeaker for my entire middle school.
That's tight.
That was my first performance.
Hell yeah.
That was my first rap performance. It got me so many friends.
Did it?
No, it didn't.
Oh.
No. Not a single.
They were like, fuck you, we do drugs.
Yeah, they all did drugs.
Yeah.
My mom was proud.
Yeah, I mean, I guess weed was a drug, right? Like that's what...
Weed was a drug. I mean, in the way they made it out. Remember weed was always the gateway drug.
Yes, it was.
It's because they couldn't find anything to actually say bad about weed.
I know.
So they had to say it was a gateway drug.
That's so funny that they called that a gateway drug.
Well, like the original scare tactic of it was you get high, you get so high and euphoric that you just want to jump out a window.
Or how about that fucking commercial where the kid was like playing with his dad's shotgun?
Oh my God, that was messed up. That actually scared me. I'm not gonna lie.
So it worked.
That actually did scare me.
First of all, I'm about to find that right now.
Like, there's a bigger parenting problem with or without weed if the kid has access to your shotgun.
Yeah, lock your guns up.
Yeah, that's not a weed issue. Don't blame weed for that.
I mean, if I'm really stoned, I'm not going to be able to unlock the gun cabinet, load it. I don't know. There's just too many steps, man. Take the safety off.
Yeah.
You don't blame Ford for AC Cowling and OJ Simpson. I mean, it's like, this is a whole separate thing. Are you pulling it up?
I'm pulling it up.
Wait, the shotgun one? Because I've never seen that.
You've never seen it?
I've never seen the shotgun one.
What would I call it? I forget. Let's see.
Terrible parents get a pass because of weed. Is that?
I would be interesting to see that because it's similar to, I go to Europe a lot. And when you buy cigarettes there, they have actual images of people's lungs or people with like the holes in their throats. And they're graphic images. So I'm interested to see but everybody smokes in Europe, so there's no way that works.
Well, that's the thing. It's a swing state thing, right? It's like those who are hardcore smokers, they're going to smoke no matter what. Those who are against it are not going to smoke. The ones who are like, I really like smoking, but I have a family member that died of lung. They see that picture and they're like, okay, maybe I should stop. So they're the ones who are already in the middle, right?
That makes sense.
It's not going to change their mind. It's like people who watch the news. Nobody watches Fox because they want to have their mind changed. They watch Fox because they already believe what's on the thing. They just want to have it validated, right? So yeah, that wasn't changing anybody's mind.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's almost, is there an argument for, because they're not allowed to advertise for cigarettes.
Right.
Could there be an argument for fast food chains shouldn't be allowed to advertise anymore.
I mean, 1,000%. The challenge there is there's so much big business. Have you guys watched the 13th? You watched?
Yes,
13th,
I have
right?
seen the 13th on Netflix. I have.
One of the greatest things I've ever watched.
Oh my God,
for
same.
so many reasons. I watched it 3 times, and like the whole stuff they talked about with like Alec. Did you watch it as well?
I watched something called Fear of the 13th.
No,
but this is something
you would
different.
know if you've seen it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really, really good. It's on Netflix. It's really awesome about like 13th Amendment. Well, it's pseudo about the 13th Amendment, but really, really amazing. But they were talking about how there's this whole corporation or organization called ALEC. It stands for something. I don't remember what it stands for. But they bring together politicians and big business to enact laws that will work best for the big business. So they did different gun law kinds of things that were advantageous to Walmart, since Walmart is the biggest seller of guns and ammo in the world, or in the country at least. So it's crazy. So that's why I think the fast food thing happens, is there's just way too much money behind it. So like, no, we're going to keep doing that.
Okay, so I can't find that exact one, but I did find another one that I saw during that time. This one right here.
Oh my God, I remember this one. So bad.
So Sarah, what's going on here? Sarah?
She won't answer you. Or she can't.
Why not?
This is the way it's been since she started smoking pot. She's all lazy and boring, and
She got
you know,
she got
we used to
steamrolled.
have so much fun together.
And now?
This is what we do.
You missing the chips?
Yo, but for real, she just looked super relaxed.
I'm saying.
I love how we used to have so much fun
Hold on,
together.
let me show one more because I remember this one too.
It's like you can't have fun with people that smoke pot.
Of course not.
Hey, Lindsay. I wish you didn't smoke weed.
What's that voice?
You're not the same when you smoke. And I miss my friend. I'll be outside.
Why they gotta bring the dog in?
Dead up. When I'm high around an animal, they get 14 times more snacks than when I'm sober.
And they know what's up too.
No dog is telling you not to smoke weed.
Oh
They're
my
like,
God.
please keep eating the Cheetos and missing your face.
Literally.
Perfect.
Literally.
Wow.
Yeah.
Or is it like is this a myth? Tell me if this is a myth.
Yeah.
You smoke and then you blow the secondhand smoke into the dog's ear. It makes them high. This is like a classic stoner thing. Anybody who smokes weed that has a dog, they think this is real. I don't know if it's real or not.
I've never heard. What's the logic behind
The ear.
Why the ear? Why not in the snout?
I don't know. Maybe it just gets in the bloodstream quicker. I don't know.
Oh my God.
The best part about this is the medical rationalization of people who are high. Of course you blow it.
Of course, bro.
Man.
You put it directly in your gums, bro. I just put the weed directly in my gums and I just fucking let it ride.
Like people who eat the fucking actual bud and you're just like chewing it. I'm like, I don't know if that's working.
Really do that?
Yes.
Chew on actual bud?
100%.
What?
Stupid. I don't know. I don't even think that works. I think it takes so long for your body to process it. It would be like,
Of course.
stupid.
Yeah, so when I was probably 16, I had a friend, he worked at this place called Maui Wowie. It was a smoothie shop.
It's just fire.
They had a Hawaiian smoothie and stuff. So Snoop Dogg came through at the Verizon Wireless Amphitheater in St. Louis. He was performing and we were working the Maui Wowie stand at the concert. And needless to say, we were like, oh, we got to get high for this. So we just threw a bunch of weed in some smoothies and drank it.
Did you get high?
No, we didn't get high. That's not how it works.
Okay, just
works
making
at all.
sure.
You got a sugar rush.
Yeah, you got
a bunch of like frozen strawberries and shit, but it wasn't
Yeah,
weed.
you got to experiment in college, man.
Wait, but I was really in my mind, I was so excited because I thought you were going to tell me Snoop came to the stand and said, "Can I actually get some Maui Wowie?"
And then you gave him the weed
And then
smoothie.
You gave him the weed smoothie,
and he was like,
Oh God, could he just trashes us?
"Yeah, that would have been amazing. That would have been absolutely amazing." Wait, so how long were you in St. Louis? When did you leave St. Louis?
I moved to LA in 2012.
Okay, so you were there during the Nelly days.
Oh yeah.
Were you a hip hop fan then?
Yes.
Or you a
And
Nelly fan, I guess I should say.
I was a Nelly fan and Hot in Here, that was blasted every hour on the hour for like
Was it?
5-10 years in St. Louis.
Was he the first big St. Louis rapper?
you know what? That was my first album that my dad ever bought me.
Really?
He accidentally bought me the uncensored version. And I never told him. And then I was just banging that shit.
But I remember because I would be outside playing basketball in St. Louis and every kid be balling and then they would just repeat that famous line. girl, I think my butt getting big.
That was a fan favorite.
That was a fire.
I just remember being young, like, what does he mean by that? Like, what is that all about? I want to know.
Should I elaborate or?
No, I mean, your butt gets bigger, but
No. I mean, I think from my perspective and I'll just break it down. Sorry, mother. So, I mean, this is, I don't know if this is a black thing or whatever. There is a false belief within the black community. If you have sex from behind, basically, doggy style, getting hit from the back, that it makes your butt bigger.
Wait, so you think she was referencing that in the song? Oh, interesting.
Because she was fucking with Nelly. And she's like, damn, girl, I think my butt getting big because they were having so much sex.
I've never heard that in my life.
Really?
That's so weird. But do you think that's what Nelly was referring to?
I mean, I think he was referring to the fact that she was getting dressed and looking at my butt and having a conversation with the girl and being like, yo, I think my butt's getting bigger. But I also think there was an underlying meaning of,
because he's hitting it from the back.
Because he was hitting it from the back.
Because they didn't say a source of why her butt was getting big.
Exactly.
And so you can just kind of put two and two together.
That's why as a kid, I always thought it was random. Like, okay, you're talking about getting hot in here, you're dancing in a club, and now your butt's big. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously point. Like, I don't even know if it's even a real thing, but I guess maybe because the muscles that you're using or something, or like, flexing or, I don't know, using your glutes to have sex, I guess.
Stretching it out.
Maybe that was what implied that your butt would get bigger, but it was definitely a thing. Or it could have been a thing that was put on by the guys to get girls in bed so that there could be some incentive, like your butt's gonna get bigger.
Interesting, man. Dudes are savage.
Slick as a motherfucker.
I'm gonna use that one.
Yeah, you're like, shit, girl, I'm gonna help you out, girl.
That is.
You want to be Instagram famous? I got you.
I'm fascinated by that. That comes from the same medical journal that says dogs get high by blowing smoke in their ears.
We need to write that book.
We should write a fake medical book and just like a spoof book, a parody.
I'm so fucking serious.
And just make up a bunch of stuff.
I'm doing it. Let's do it.
Yo, and you can and for if your butt's not getting big enough from sex, you just take 1 milligram of cortikai.
Yeah,
and then it'll blow up your booty. It almost sounds like Cobra Kai from Karate Kid.
Oh wow.
Yeah. That's what I was. There's something lingering.
Did you ever see? There's a video. So y'all Karate Kid fans, or you at least saw the movie?
Yeah, we saw the movie. Okay. Jaden Smith, right?
Okay.
What?
Oh my God, so
that's what you thought he was referring
to. How old are you,
Court?
I'm 29.
Oh, are you fucking serious?
Yeah.
You're 29 years old?
Yeah.
Matt, how old are you?
29.
We're both 29.
So you don't know that there was a Karate Kid before Jaden Smith.
She should still know this, guys. Come on. You thought that was the original? You thought Jaden Smith was the original?
I honestly have never seen the original.
Wow.
Who was the original?
Ralph Macchio, who still looks the same now as he did back then. He doesn't age.
Who was the guy?
Please pull up Ralph Macchio. Just pull up the Karate Kid. It was the same.
I'm embarrassed.
It was Mr. Miyagi. It was.
Mr. Miyagi.
Maybe I did know that. Okay.
Mr. Miyagi was the same dude. Pat Morita. And wait, was Pat Morita in the Jaden Smith one also?
No, Jackie Chan.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah. So Pat Morita died by then. That's right. He passed away. But the original one, Ralph Macchio, and you got to know Ralph Macchio. If you see his face, you'll know who he is.
Okay, so we're looking at full cast. This guy?
Let's see, pull it
up. Full screen that.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's the final scene of the movie. Yeah, that's the original Karate Kid. And dude still looks like that today.
Okay, and his name is?
That's Ralph Macchio.
Yeah, they have some sort of, I don't know if it's a YouTube show or what, but it's called Cobra Kai. And it's
no way.
The guy that he beats.
He aged very well.
Yeah. He did, right? Yeah, that movie is a classic. And there was like 3 of them. There was Karate Kid 1, 2, and 3 with Ralph Macchio. Yeah,
he aged very well.
That's the dude, man.
Wow.
So the cool thing though is that in that movie, it's kind of like the Jaden Smith version, but he gets picked on a lot, right?
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. The same thing with him. He gets picked on, and then he learns martial arts so he can defend himself and become a better man or whatever. So the interesting thing though, there's a video somewhere on YouTube that has kind of recut the way Karate Kid was shown to actually show that the main character, that he's the bad guy, that he's actually the dick. Because if you watch the video, you're like, actually, he's an instigating motherfucker. He's like supposed to be the one getting bullied. He instigated so much shit.
It's all about perspective.
It's all about perspective.
It's so funny you say that, because a show similar to Friends and Seinfeld, I'd say it's the modern version of that. It's called How I Met Your Mother.
Great show.
But there's a character named Barney, and throughout the show, multiple episodes, he talks about how the other character was the hero. He references that throughout every season of the show. He brings that up. Yep. And then I think, what's his name? What's the actor's name?
Neil Patrick Harris?
No,
the enemy of The Karate Kid.
Oh, I don't remember. Johnny Barnes or something? Or
No, but anyway, he ends up coming on the show as a cameo. But
he came on.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, How I Met Your Mother was an amazing show. The ending was terrible. The ending was trash.
So bad.
Trash. It was like all this time I put into this show, and it was trash.
What was the premise?
It was a story about this guy, Ted Mosby, he was the main character. And
Which is Neil Patrick Harris?
No, Neil Patrick Harris is Barney Stinson.
Okay.
Who was his best friend, who's a massive womanizer, which is obviously hilarious because he's gay.
Yeah.
But just like ridiculous womanizer. And the whole premise of the show is that it is the main character telling the story to his kids about how he met their mother.
Oh,
right?
okay.
So
that's kind of cute.
Yeah, so you're watching it, like he's dating certain people, and you're like, oh, is that going to be the mom?
Yeah.
Oh, man, they broke up. And like you're trying to figure it out, and there's all the interpersonal stuff. Allison Hannigan's in it. Jason Segel's in it.
I like
It's a great cast. But yeah, amazing show.
But a letdown at the end.
Huge. Like,
Well, then
Great.
they'll bring back
Great.
certain girlfriends that he had, and you're like, oh, maybe that they're bringing, or like he'll get engaged, and then the engagement will get called off, and you're just like, okay, well, what the hell?
ending was so depressing. One of the most depressing endings of a show ever.
That's how you know, just network television, they're not thinking that long term. Like they're just like, all right, we need to get the ratings week after week.
Yeah.
Let's make sure we get the right cameos, make sure we get Katy Perry on an episode and this person. And it's the same thing with like Empire.
Yeah.
Like everybody loved Empire the first 2 seasons, and then like
It got corny.
it got so corny because you could just tell they're just trying to bring in big names so that they can advertise it. You better watch next week because we're bringing on Tyrese Gibson. You know, like, okay, this has nothing to do with the storyline. I just watch it because of Tyrese.
Yeah, of course. And actually, it's funny you say Terrence Howard. So did you watched all of Black AF?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember? I think it's like the last episode where he's sitting there Kenya's talking to camera, and he says something about Terrence Howard, and his daughter's off screen, and she's like, I hope he's okay.
Yeah.
And then Kenya's like, yeah, me too.
Yeah. I do love Terrence Howard.
That line just killed me though.
For real. I love when they talk off camera like that. That's hilarious. So.
Terrence is amazing though.
Oh my
He's
God.
incredible.
Hustle and Flow.
Yeah. Next level.
What's he doing? That
What's he
trick,
doing now?
did him.
What else is he doing now?
What's the last thing I saw him in? I don't even remember, to be honest. I think, was he in The Equalizer? No.
I didn't see
I don't even remember. But I haven't seen him
amazing.
in so long. And I just think he's so amazing. And his voice is so unique. And I'm just like, I love
Yeah, he
Terrence
does
Howard.
have a good voice. I love how low key he was. What's the Iron Patriot or whatever in the Avengers? Like he was in the first Iron Man movie.
Yeah.
And they just swapped him out for Don Cheadle.
Yeah, they did.
And nobody noticed. Nobody noticed.
The Aunt Viv. They pulled an Aunt Viv on him.
Yeah, and Aunt Viv
They really
just
did.
never explained
They
it.
really did.
Except they did in Fresh Prince. They actually called it out, right?
Yes.
Which I thought was amazing.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, because Will walks in, he's like, Aunt Viv, you look different, or like he says something about her appearance looking different.
Yeah.
And it was the big joke that they actually called it out that they had changed that. Why did they change out Aunt Viv? You guys know?
I think because of Will Smith was having issues with her.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard she was hard to work with or something.
no way.
Yeah.
Man, that's the power of being the star power on the show. You don't like somebody, they're gone.
Ooh, gone.
They are gone. What else are you guys watching right now since you're in quarantine? What's like something you're really into?
What are you watching?
You know, I'm just watching NBA basketball, honestly. It's so weird how much, if you're into sports and then it's gone, then you have this giant hole in your soul, and it's so weird. Like I got addicted to the news because I didn't have sports.
Just something to fill the void.
So I'm just so happy that sports are back, so that I don't have to watch the news and be angry throughout the day.
Yeah.
And you were like, why am I angry? Oh yeah, I watched like an hour's worth of news today. That's why.
Does it feel the same though, watching it with like nobody in the stands and like, what do they have, screens or something?
Basketball is exactly the same.
Okay.
Baseball seems weird because they hit home runs and there's nobody in the stands.
There's just no one. Did they don't have like fake stuff like they do with basketball? Like
they have virtual fans behind them throwing the pitches, but not in the actual stands like where they hit homers.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah, but basketball they have like the fake crowd.
Yeah.
So depending on who the home team is, even though there's no home court advantage.
Yeah.
If like the other teams on defense, they'll be like defense, and like
Really?
when it gets closer to the end they do a good job. When it gets closer to the end of the games, you can hear the crowd starting to get louder and louder. It really feels the exact same.
Yeah.
Who are the people though? Like, are they live streaming in? It's not like a recorded video.
Oh yeah. So they have virtual fans. So sometimes I saw Lil Wayne was the virtual fan for the Lakers.
Oh,
and
that's
cool.
interesting. That's really
they
cool.
probably just set up a camera and then they just live stream it in.
Yeah. Zoom in or something. That's interesting.
Yeah, but they'll do like the, try to distract them while they're taking
The free throws. And stuff? Oh,
yeah.
so they have it all the way around. They have the screens all the way around.
Yeah, the
Oh,
screens.
no way. That's interesting.
It's kind of weird.
That's never a sport.
I'm sure it doesn't affect them at all.
Nah. There's an energetic thing of being on TV versus like somebody actually sitting in front of you. I'm sure it doesn't affect them.
Yeah. And now you have these no-name players that are going off for 50 points. And you're like, who's this? He's like, oh yeah, there's no pressure anymore.
That's right.
There's nobody around. It's just your team. Just shoot away.
So did you watch Last Dance?
Yes.
Yes, it was amazing.
Michael Jordan, sure.
Wait, whoa, hold on. Whoa, you can't say that.
Okay, all right. He's just not very nice.
Well, okay, hold on. But let's qualify this. And I'm not defending him. I just want to know where this comes from.
I just watching that, I just felt like I understand how dedicated, devoted, all his life, how he was, and like his gambling. Like I get it. I understand. But it's like at the same time, like, you know, when he punched, who did he punch? Steve Kerr?
Yeah.
Punched Steve Kerr in the face. And then he said that he got on a plane with Meta World Peace and told the flight attendant that he couldn't have any food today because he didn't get enough points. And I get like it's kind of funny, but it's also
No, it wasn't Meta World Peace.
Was it? Oh, no. Okay, I don't remember who it was. Anyways, but I just feel like he was kind of harsh. Yeah. But I get it. I understand like you have to be that kind of person sometimes. But it's like, I don't know. Are they just saying that he was cool and like he's a legend just for like the documentary? Because they probably low-key think he was a dick.
Well, I mean, for me, in watching it, I actually feel like they showed a lot of the dickish stuff. Like they were okay with showing dick. I don't think, in the beginning, it was very painted like, watch as we chronicle the life of this amazing, perfect human being. And then it's like, who also has massive gambling issues and kind of treats people like shit sometimes.
Yeah.
So he was what I will say is that he was very single-minded. Yeah. And you hear in the way he talks about, which is really weird because like even when he talks about people like Scotty, when he said a few things and I was like, oh, he kind of did Scotty dirty a few times. But even the way he did Scotty dirty, it was all related to the goal of winning the game. It was all it wasn't a personal thing. It wasn't like, Scotty's a bitch. Like, or maybe he actually said that.
Yeah. But I'm pretty sure I heard that shit.
But it was Scotty's a bitch, not as a human. It was Scotty's a bitch because he didn't help us win the game.
Got it.
Always was mapping back to winning the game. Yeah. But he's still a dick.
And you know what's important is something that I do forget, which I try to remind people. You have to learn how to, especially in reference to Michael Jackson, learn how to separate the art from the person. And that's the biggest thing. It's like, I don't want to negate what he did as like, you know, a champ. Obviously, like he's an amazing athlete, 100%. But as a person, I really don't know him personally, but probably less like him. You know what I mean?
Totally. I agree. I think that's important for us to do. I think that's something a lot of people don't want to talk about. They don't want to talk about it with Michael Jackson. They want to talk about it with Bill Cosby. Like they want to talk about it with people who gave us so much. And but that's the thing is that like, there are people that will hear that reaction from you and say, how could you say that given what, well, but you're not saying that in reference to what he did in his personal life. You're saying it because you're mourning the image I won't speak for you, but mourning the image of like, man, this thing that he gave so much to us.
Yeah, and also it's like what he did for the Black community and showed that like a Black man could be a doctor and marry a lawyer and have a great family and have money. And the main topic of their show wasn't about them struggling. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like they all went to college. Like they said Hillman, but I think it was what's the Black school that I can't think of? Spelman is what they were talking about. Right. But it's just like to show that I almost think it was a little bit of a conspiracy. And, I won't say that he didn't do what he did, but everything just seemed a little fishy. Like I was telling my homegirls, like, there'd be like a scenario where a girl would be at his house at 3 a.m. or his hotel at 3 a.m. And I'm like, okay, my perspective is, and I'm not saying this applies to all of them. If I'm at somebody's hotel at 3 a.m., I know what I'm there to do. Right. You know what I mean? And so then it gets really wishy-washy and you just don't really know where the line is. Yeah. So that's why I'm like, damn, give him a chance. Right. Do you know what I mean? Right. I don't know.
But there's the court of public opinion, so it doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
It's especially when allegations come out in a way where they don't really leave a spot open for the person. And I'm not talking about Bill Cosby, anybody. Yeah. Where they just come out and they're like, you did this. And it's like, there's no way to come back because anything you say can be misconstrued, can be turned around. So, but I think it's really interesting though, because to me, as long as, and I'm just formulating this thought now for the first time, but as long as whatever they did is not in direct conflict with what the mission was, then I'm okay with it. So for example, if Bill Cosby was known for showing Black people in a light where they were successful and not struggling, and then behind the scenes, he was actually like self-loathing and hated Black people and hated Black, that would be like, oh, that's kind of interesting. But it was what he did or didn't do.
Yeah, because you're like, so it was all fake?
Exactly.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So as long as it's not in conflict with the mission, same thing with Michael Jackson. He wanted to, improve the world through music, right? And he did that. And that's not in direct conflict with whatever he did or didn't do. So it can be very hard. And I'm sure there are people who hear this say, you're an idiot if you think you can separate them. Then I'm an idiot. And I'll over.
That's a great perspective. I never actually thought about that because it has to line up for it to be.
And a lot of artists are kind of on the fringes of their personal, whether it's personal health or just mental. Like Stephen King, he says a lot of his greatest books that he wrote, he doesn't remember writing because he was on so much drugs, so much cocaine, and he was mixing alcohol and cocaine and cigarettes.
Really?
Yeah. He doesn't even remember writing some of his best-selling books. So it's like some creatives, creatives are just geniuses of their crafts. They feel like they have to be so extreme with it. And you can go back to Michael Jordan, that they feel like that's why they're successful, whether it's true or not. It's like once you start having those successes and you had a certain process, you feel like I have to keep doing that process. Otherwise you get superstitious. He talked about that in the documentary about, didn't he wear the same shorts underneath?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he had a bunch of different like little things like that he did for sure.
Yeah, and they even talk about that in Space Jam. Remember the Bugs Bunny has to go get his dirty shorts so he can perform against the Monstars. It's like people, once they have that success, they want to keep that process going, and then even if it's weird or bizarre, they're attached to it.
Well, a lot of people, I think, and saying what you just said about like all the drug use and stuff when he was writing those movies, I think a lot of people don't actually want to know the process.
They don't.
They think they do. They think, oh my God, he made this amazing movie. I would love to watch him in flow, waking up every day and just having inspiration in writing. They don't actually want to know how the sausage is made.
No.
Right? But there has to be something in the wiring of people that perform at that high level of excellence.
Yeah.
I think you can perform at a very high level of excellence without that. Mm-hmm. But I think people who are like freaks of nature in how they perform, there's something off about them.
100%.
And most people don't want to know the thing that's off about them because they'll ruin the experience of who they think they are.
It's like the movie Limitless with Bradley Cooper. It's like there has to be a certain sector of your brain that's open, and sometimes that gets open through drugs.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like Mozart, Chopin, like they were all doing psychedelics.
Yeah. I mean, it's huge. Have you read like Stealing Fire? Have you read
I have not.
Great book. Stealing Fire.
Fire.
Stephen Kotler, and it's all about the science of flow.
Okay.
Right? And there's a whole subset of science. There's actually an organization called MAPS, the Multidisciplinary Association of Psychedelic Studies.
Okay.
And they are the ones who are using MDMA, LSD, ketamine, all these things for therapeutic uses and for getting into flow states and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And this is something where LSD used to be used for therapeutic purposes.
Yeah.
And the government then wanted to have a war against it and took it away, even though it was actually very effective.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of things here that I think once the stigma is removed from them, we're going to see that there's so much more capability for all of us.
Seriously.
Psilocybin's another one, like mushrooms.
For like dementia.
For so many things.
So many things.
So many things. So I think I think that there's people probably could have a lot more of a limitless experience if there wasn't so much stigma around mind-altering substances.
Yeah, I read one of Steven's books, and it was interesting because he talked about how extreme athletes, so extreme sports such as snowboarding, skateboarding, would get you into flow because you're doing this, you're snowboarding, you're going down a hill, you're dodging trees, and then you go off a big jump, and you have no choice but to be in the present moment. Yep. Otherwise, you literally die.
Yep.
If your mind drifts off into, what did I eat for lunch today? Then you break your neck.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it was interesting how, we're talking about drugs, but there's something in the body. I forget, people say this all the time, but it's like our bodies are basically pharmaceuticals. They can create all kinds of drugs within our own bodies. So it's interesting that putting yourself through different extreme situations, your body produces those drugs and those chemicals to allow you to focus and allow you to just not see anything else going on. So,
well, yeah, it's crazy because what it is, and Steven's a good friend of mine, and I love flow stuff. So we've talked about it a ton of times, and he's brilliant. But there are 5 different chemicals that happen like when you get into a flow state. There's like 20 different triggers for flow. One of them is like novelty or like danger kind of stuff, like Matt was talking about. But there's like it's oxytocin, dopamine, norepinephrine, anandamide, and serotonin. I think are the 5 that are in your brain going off when you're in flow. If you actually and there are psychedelic substances you can take for each one of those things. If you were to take the psychedelic substances that actually give you those things all at the same time, you would die. You would literally drop dead right away. And yet your brain, when you're in flow, knows how to produce all 5 of those naturally in a way where you're actually excelling in performing.
Wow.
So it's crazy how the psychedelics can go too far. And he actually talks about this too, is that flow state can be dangerous. Flow state is not something you want to be in all the time. It's revved up all the way.
I mean, in flow state all the time.
Yeah, you can't do it. And so he talks about that as well. It's like after you're in a flow state, I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this before, where like you're in a flow state, you're doing something for hours on end and like you just lose track of time and everything. And at the end, you can almost sometimes, and I've definitely experienced this, you almost kind of feel depressed or
Yeah.
like sad or like down, right?
Yeah.
And that's because being in flow literally is draining all of your feel-good chemicals in your head. That's how you're able to stay in flow.
Yeah.
And then when it's done, it's done. So I used to have, like for me, I'm massively in flow when I'm on stage, right? So if I'm doing a keynote or like a training or something, I'm super in flow. And then I would always beat myself up because the day after, like if I traveled back or even if I stayed in whatever city it was, I would be so low energy. I would be depressed.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there like, why am I depressed? I just did something I love so much. It's because I love it so much. I was in so much flow. I used up all my feel good.
Wow.
And you have to let the feel good come back. You have to let it come back over time.
Yeah. Man.
Flow is
It's
insane.
good to understand these things so you don't overreact and be like, man, what's wrong with me? Or I'm depressed or this and that. You know, I get off stage and I have this adrenaline rushing and it's hard for me to sleep. And if you can understand like, oh yeah, that's because I was just on stage and this and that, then you're not going to freak out about it and go down the wrong path.
Yeah.
And you can kind of counteract those things and not make bad decisions on a regular basis.
How does it feel for you on stage? Do you feel like flow? Do you feel like that's flow when you're on stage?
Yeah, for sure. It's always nerves going into it. And then 5 minutes in, you're like, oh, okay, I'm good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
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 And then do you have like the down though? Do you have like the...
I don't really have the down.
Okay.
But I mean, during this lockdown, man, I'll be honest, I was feeling depressed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I think when you're used to traveling every week, seeing getting that extra stimulus of seeing different things, meeting new people, not knowing who you're going to meet, who you're going to run into, and then being on that stage and getting that positive reinforcement of, oh, we like what you're doing. And even just, you know, being on stage, jumping around and acting like an idiot.
Yeah.
And then now you're not, and you're just, you know, they always say that, right? You need a certain level of stimulus, but not too much. Yeah. And if you get too little, then there's like that. It's such a fine line.
It's a super fine line. I mean, that's where the difference between like, I think probably flow and addiction or flow and obsession and there was kind of a moment that I saw in The Last Dance where you saw it went from competitiveness to obsession to compulsion. Like he didn't have a gambling problem. He had a competition problem, right? He just wanted to win at something.
100%.
Care what it was. So yeah, it can cross that line. Were you also from a young age, Matt, like super, like a performer? Were you like class clown? Were you like doing little shows in front of the family?
Yeah, I was always into music. Always wanted to create. And I never wanted to do a 9-to-5 job. So I think in my mind, it was anything I could do. I think I love the idea of traveling too. Like I always say this, I used to go to shows in St. Louis when I was 14. I would go every weekend. There'd be $10 shows. And I remember meeting Skrillex. He was in a different band called From First to Last at the time. It was like a metal band. And he talked to me outside the venue after the show. He was opening, so they were like on the low totem pole at the time. And I just watched him get into his tour bus and they just drove off and they go on to the next town. And I remember just being like, that's what I want to do. Like I want to play a show, drive to the next place and just be on a constant road trip. That sounds fun.
You was looking so cute on that camera angle. Sorry.
She's like distracted. Like,
didn't even hear what you said.
What are we talking about?
Yeah, baby. I love mango too. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yo, you don't know how frustrating it is to talk to Court sometimes because she will let me go on for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And she'll be like, excuse me, what were you saying? I was distracted.
But she's enamored by you. This is because
exactly. It's like I want to be so mad at her, but she's not listening because she thinks I'm hot. She's like, fuck, what do I do?
I'm so sorry. It's probably so annoying. I'm just like...
It's like you think of yourself as such an intellectual and you want to have deep conversations. You're like, nah, I'm just a piece of meat.
No, I mean, time to time, we have like very, intellectual conversations. But sometimes it's like, wow, your eyelashes are so long. And then...
Hey, that's why we brought you up. Yeah. We brought you here so we can have it, and you can listen and we can have intellectual conversations.
I'm going to take notes on how a woman should adore a man. This is how it should work. This is beautiful.
Exactly.
Now, have you guys ever done anything with like talking about your values? Like for example, like for you, it's obvious one of your values is novelty, right? Like novelty or adventure, like that kind of stuff. And like, have you guys talked about?
We did the Mind Valley. It was Mind Valley, right?
Are you talking about Lifebook?
Lifebook.
Oh, Lifebook. Yeah.
Yes.
I did it live with John and Missy at their house
we did
in Chicago. Did you go to Chicago to do it?
No, we did it online.
Okay. It's so good though, right?
I didn't finish it, unfortunately, because it closed out before I was like running around and traveling the world.
Oh no, we got access to it forever.
Oh, we do?
Yeah. So it should be lifetime
hit
access.
it up. You can.
I thought maybe, didn't you tell me there was a deadline?
I think maybe I was giving you a deadline.
Maybe that's
Little sneaky.
Because I wanted to
Yeah.
I wanted to like not compare notes, but be like, okay, this is what let's get on the same page.
It was amazing. I got pretty far on it, I think. I thought it was amazing. I thought it was really insightful. It gave me a lot of perspective and like, it was tight.
They're an amazing couple. Like, they have created an insane life for themselves.
And wasn't he? What did I see? He was sick for a while, right? Did he have cancer or what am I thinking of? He was telling a story how he got really sick. Oh no, he got really depressed. Gosh, I can't remember. And then he went into a hole that's when he created this.
Oh God, okay, yeah. That's probably it's probably.
Yeah, they're amazing.
So they what they did was they created the My Precious Moments. Have you seen those little?
Yes, my grandma was obsessed with those.
Every grandma.
God.
12 billion with a B, 12 billion in sales of those.
Wow. I mean, they're pretty tight though. I'm not gonna lie. They're made out of porcelain too, right?
Yes, that was his dad.
Beautiful.
It was John's dad.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because if my grandma had them, there's no way that he created them.
Yeah, so John's dad, John and Missy are the couple who created this life book thing we're talking about. And it like has you go through the 12 areas of your life and like map it all out and stuff. And so John's dad was an artist.
Okay.
And didn't really know how to make any money off of his art. And so John came along and was like, why don't we just license this as intellectual property and have, build something around it. And that's how the business actually came.
Wow.
And so his dad was like, not really a businessman. His dad just wanted to create his art.
Yeah.
And John came along and said, let's make a business. And $12 billion later, man.
And they are so cute.
They are super cute. Their kids are amazing.
Do you think people are like in the 20s know what those are? I'm going to pull it up maybe.
Pull it up.
Because I don't think that they know.
I don't think they know. I don't even know if they still sell them.
I don't think they do.
I feel like at some point they got bought out by some other company.
Yeah.
They're one of those timeless things. I remember being in people's houses and they had display cases. Did you ever see people that had display cases of these things? Like it was really something that people focused on.
My grandma had like 100 of them.
They were crazy, man. They were absolutely crazy.
Let's get the OG ones like these.
This was such a throwback. Like every time I go to my grandma's house, I'm like, yep, there it is.
Remember that? Look, pull it up. Those.
Yeah, those are so interesting.
They were so cool.
Forever in my heart.
The eyes are really far apart.
Yeah, they are.
Like they're just like chilling on the ears.
Yeah, they're kind of like ghosts.
Yeah, they are a little ghosty.
I mean, they got the. I've never seen a brown one.
Wow.
That's Jasmine. Princess Jasmine.
Wow. Look at them.
Yeah, that's right. They did some licensing, I think, with Disney and stuff too.
Okay, so they doing it because I've never seen a brown one. They got Ursula right here too.
Wow, look at
wow.
She don't deserve one.
She was ratchet.
It was super judgmental.
Wow, I didn't even know they did brown and black people. That's tight.
You're like, I'm on board now.
I mean, but you don't. I guess you don't realize how many things you don't see represented within yourself when and not that it was intentional, but it's like you just accept certain things as looking a certain way. So I've never even noticed that they had a brown precious moment.
The OG ones that I saw, they didn't have like any color at all. Like they were,
never.
They were just ghosts.
Yeah, they're like little angel things, angel babies.
Yeah. Okay, wait. So value stuff. So you guys you started doing Lifebook, but like, have you guys just had discussions about like just what you value, like what lights you up, and like?
I think
if I had to break some of them down, we both value travel, and that's kind of, when I'm a musician, she's a model, and as you go along as a musician, and you know that okay, traveling is part of my life, it's how I make money, it's part of my career. That you have to value that, and you have to, whoever your partner is has to be okay with that. Yeah. So when we first met, she was living in New York, I was living in LA, and we weren't even living in the same state. We were living 3,000 miles away. So we had to be okay with that in the beginning. And a lot of the shows I was playing happened to be on the East Coast. So I'll just use some of my flyer miles, jump over the day later, stay in New York. And then some of, she had modeling gigs where she was traveling. She'd be like, oh, I'm in LA this weekend. And that's kind of how we started dating. So I think off the bat, it was like, oh, cool. I know she's going to be down because she does the same thing.
Yeah.
So I think as far as that goes, that's always the biggest, you were telling us before the podcast, the issues that you had as far as just the long distance. Yeah. And if you're not on the same page,
if you're not on the same page, you're absolutely screwed. Yeah. Especially if it's across the world. Across the country is bad.
That's hard.
The world is worse, especially in the pandemic.
Honestly, I have to say it's the woman. It's the woman. She got to be okay with that shit. Because if she's not, no. There's
Did you
nothing.
Ever have a challenge with her? But you were doing your thing too.
I was doing my thing. But also I think that I'm at an age where I am not all weird and insecure and wanting to go through a guy's phone and feeling like, oh my God, is he cheating on me? Or like, what is he doing on Instagram? I'm past that.
Yeah.
So I think that at any other age or any other time, maybe I wouldn't have been as okay. But Now that I'm like, I got my own shit going on. If anybody cheats on me, they can go. You know what I mean? And I don't know that a lot of women can really accept that. I think they take cheating or you know, that kind of thing personal. And for me, it's not about me.
Right.
And so I think once you're okay with that, you have no resistance and then it just flows.
Yo, if you could like write a book on that or like do an episode on that for women and for men.
Seriously.
Like, it's huge, right? Like the neediness and like all that stuff, it ruins relationships from both sides. It ruins relationships. And it's well-meaning. It's because people are trying to get love or they're trying to recreate the family dynamic they didn't have. If they didn't get love from their dad or from their mom, they try to recreate that because it feels familiar, even though it's uncomfortable and terrible. Yeah. But yeah, that's the biggest thing. It is. It's huge. Yeah. Have you looked at like attachment styles at all? Like attachment theory? Have you seen this?
I have seen it. What do I know about that? There's terms, right?
Yeah. So there's like you can be a secure attachment, which is the one that we want to be as whenever possible. But then there's 3 different insecure attachments. Okay. And there's like there's a dismissive, there's an avoidance.
I think I'm the avoidance.
Okay. All right. I think I was the avoidance. So that means if there's conflict, you try to like you don't want to face it. You want to kind of like walk away from it.
No, I'm not avoidance. I think avoidance would be Matt. You're avoidance, right?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
You own that shit.
Yeah, you know, I've taken that, but I can't remember what I am. But you know what I have taken that the love language.
Oh, okay. So all right. So I would love to know. Did he take it too? Matt, did you take the love?
Yes, language? I read the book. I'm more of an affirmation, and she's more physical touch.
All right. So words of affirmation, physical touch. What about top 2? What are your top 2?
I think mine was what's the other one? Gosh, I can't remember.
Acts of service, gifts.
Acts of service. It was acts of service and physical touch. Physical touch. Yeah. Which is interesting. And I don't think enough people take that test because it's really insightful.
Super insightful for yourself, but it also shows you why sometimes you do stuff for your partner and they don't appreciate it. And you're like, what the fuck is wrong with them?
And you get pissed.
And you get pissed.
It's because it's not their love language.
No.
It's like, it's such a powerful thing to realize. For me, it's physical touch, words of affirmation first, then physical touch, then quality time, then acts of service, and gifts is like in Albuquerque.
Yeah.
Not even anywhere near the top 5. Yeah. But it's interesting to notice that. It's very interesting to notice that.
But you know what I was thinking the other day? Because like for me, like those may be mine, but also the way that I choose to love is different.
Yeah.
Because mine's is gifts. Like I will go and I will buy so many things for my cousins. And like when I show up, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to see this person next week. I'm going to buy them this thing that I've been thinking about, like a plant, and I'm going to bring it to my cousin's house. Do you know what I mean? But for me, it's like getting gifts is not really that big of a deal.
Oh, that's interesting.
Do you know what I mean?
So the way you love others is not necessarily in alignment with the way you love to be
loved. Not at all.
Interesting.
We'll go to like a friend's birthday party and I'll be like, oh, it's fine. Like, let's just go. And she'll be like, we can't show up without a gift.
I'm sorry. That's just class, honey.
I hear you.
That's class.
I hear you.
You can just go to nobody's party without a fucking gift. Like,
I brought a book.
Not like that. You know what I mean?
It's something.
Yeah, the book is enough. Let's talk about Prison Break. I feel like we need to.
I mean, I really want to talk more about blowing smoke in dogs' ears and getting them high in the bloodstream.
We literally could talk to you all day.
Same.
Every freaking day.
Same.
But yes, you wrote a book.
I did write a book.
This is your second book you wrote.
This is my first actual book.
Okay.
I've written like some guides. Like
Got it.
smaller,
Okay. Yes.
books, ebooks kind of things. But this is my first like official book. It came out at the end of 2016. And it was awesome. We hit like #1 bestseller in like, 9 different countries.
Wow.
And which was really, really cool. And yeah, it's been awesome. So it's kind of all about the understanding that at any given moment, we can be a prisoner of circumstance, or we can be what I call a self-leader, right? And so the prisoner of circumstance is somebody who is, at the whim of what's going on in the economy, who's in the White House, the song on the radio that reminds you of your ex, and all of your happiness or sadness is dictated by something outside of you. Whereas a self-leader says like, cool, that it's not, you don't lie about that stuff. That stuff does happen. You're going to have an experience of being sad and whatever else. But the question becomes, given the conditions of the game that I'm playing, given what I'm being presented by the universe or by whoever, what do I want to create? If I'm going to be intentional and purposeful about my life, how do I use life instead of being used by life?
Yeah.
And so the book is basically about breaking out of the prison of your mind.
Wow.
Which I feel like I was in, hardcore for the first 30 years of my life for the most part.
Yeah.
And it's not a personality kind of thing. It's not like you're either a prisoner or you're a self-leader. It's a moment by moment thing.
Yeah.
And so it's just, the book is hopefully there to help people recognize very simple mindset shifts to notice when they are kind of going into the prisoner perspective or they're feeling a prisoner kind of feeling,
right? And
how to shift into self-leadership. And the more we can do that, the more we feel love, the more we feel creativity, the more we feel playfulness and joy, the better our relationships are. It's just been, at least my experience of that stuff has been that when I am more purposeful about being a self-leader, my life just tends to work a little better.
Wow.
Yeah. When I was reading your book, something that really stuck out to me was you said, you had an issue with weight and you kind of hit this point where you're like, okay, I'm unhealthy, but at what point am I going to keep waiting till I change? Yep. And that stuck out to me. You brought up, you're not going to wait for building the perfect business or having the perfect logo or the perfect website. And that's something that I really struggle with because I consider myself a perfectionist. Same. And I want things to be lined up perfectly before I take that first step. And something I've been trying to work on, especially this past 6 to 18 months, is just doing it and being okay that it's imperfect and almost encouraging the fact that it's not as good as I want it to be, because every step you take, you have that moment of, okay, I'll just make it a little bit better.
Right.
And build that momentum versus not having that momentum because you're waiting. You're waiting for the perfect moment. And then it's like being lazy. You're not getting off the couch. So then you don't have that momentum to keep going. So that really stuck out to me.
Yeah. And that was the entire thing, is that I realized like there's two forms of weight. There's the WEIGHT and the WAIT, right? And so like the longer I would wait to do the things I wanted to do, to leave my corporate job and start my first company. And I had, after I left technology, corporate technology, I had 2 startups, one that was a transportation-based company and then one with NASA that we were talking about playing around with earlier. And then before I got into coaching and speaking and all that stuff. And I waited in so many of those different areas of my life. I'm like, no, I got to wait till it's perfect. I got to wait till it's perfect. And the longer I waited, the heavier I felt. So the one type of weight actually lent itself to the other type of weight. Yeah. And then it was, again, just this self-propagating loop. So one of the things I started playing with that's been really helpful for me is this concept that I talk about in the book. There's a chapter in the book called "It's Not Your Only Line in the Play." Right. And the book, the cool thing about the book is that most of the chapters are like 2 to 3 or 4 or 5 pages. They're pretty short chapters. Perfect. So you can pick it up, just read whatever. They're not like sequential where you have to read them in order. Just pick it up, open up wherever, read 3 or 4 pages, put it down. You feel accomplished. You go and live your life. I don't want you to like take off a day at work to read the book. So the whole concept of it's not your only line in the play is, if you think about, if you are like a stage performer, a stage actor, and let's say you're off stage right, and you're about to come on and deliver this line, and you have one line in the entire play. And this line is such a pivotal line. It is a critical line that if you do not absolutely nail it, not only is your career tanked, but the entire play is tanked. Everybody else on stage is tanked. The director is tanked. Everybody's life is tanked if you screw up this one line. How do you think you feel coming onto stage to deliver this line, right? Just pressure. Yeah. It's just like butthole is all puckered up and tight, and it's terrible, right?
Can't eat, can't sleep.
Can't sleep, can't do anything. And that's how I think we feel a lot of times when we want to create something in the world. We want to do something in the world. And so the premise is, what if instead of thinking about that, realizing that you actually are the star of the play and you have a line of dialogue on every single page of the play. Wow. Now, if you come on stage and you flub a line, is it going to sting? Absolutely. You're going to be like, oh, fuck, I can't believe I messed up that line. But you have another line 3 seconds later that you're going to have another chance to hit it. And you're going to be doing that play 2 times a day, 4 times a week for the next 6 weeks. And nobody's going to remember that on a Tuesday in November, you flubbed this one line in a 4-hour play. It's just not going to happen, right? So if we start having that kind of mentality that it's not our only line in the play, and even take it a step further, is I'll talk to people who I coach and they're really afraid of doing this thing, putting themselves out on the internet, doing Facebook Live, starting a business, whatever it is. And I say, listen, what if I told you that by law, this is not just like a funny thing, by law, you had to create 1,000 mediocre things before you were allowed to create something epic, right? How would that change the way you approach creating in the world, right? And most of them, when they think about it, they sit there with it. They go, well, if I had to create 1,000 mediocre things, I'm just going to get out and create all the shit I can to get it out of the way so I can get to the epic thing. Yeah. And the funny thing is that when you have that mentality around creation and you go out there and say, I'm just going to create shit just to create shit, you'll get to epic way before 1,000. Yeah. Right. It just happens that way, but we have to get started. So it's really recognizing that, like, it's not your only line in the play. You're always going to have another chance to do something. If you had the different mindset of like, this thing doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, it can't be. By law, it cannot be perfect or you'll go to jail. Then that's super helpful. And then the other thing that I ain't
trying to go to jail in this economy.
No. Plus, they got Corona up in there, man. They sharing Corona.
She's lingering. Linger.
I thought it couldn't live on surfaces. It's living on some surfaces. It is living on all the surfaces.
That should have moved in.
All the surfaces. But you think about jail, actually, is funny what I was going to say. So were you guys ever fans of Orange is the New Black?
Of course.
Okay. Amazing show.
Amazing.
So Regina Spektor is the one who sings the theme song, right?
Okay.
You've Got Time is the name of the song. And there's a line in the song that when I first heard it, I was like, oh, no, she fucked up that line. Like she fucked up the line. The line is, taking steps is easy. Standing still is hard. And I'm like, no, you fucked that up. Yeah. No, standing still is easy. Taking steps is hard. But when you really think about what she said, the damage it does to your soul to stand still when you know there's something else you want to be doing in your life, there's something you want to create, it is way fucking harder to do than to take some steps.
Totally.
Yeah, and she's relating it to prison as well. It's like, imagine being in prison and you're just, or even just the lockdowns and you're sitting there like, oh God, this is torture.
If prison wasn't so fucked up as far as the food and the mental, I don't want to say mental. It wasn't as fucked up as far as the treatment and the food and the environments. I think prison could do people some good. That solitary confinement and that understanding that you're in a place where you can't do shit and you have to face your demons. Like in Norway, like the prison system is like rehabilitation. Yeah. Here it's fucked up. Yeah, it's awful. But I think that there's something to be said about that. Do you know what I mean?
It's a reset.
Yeah, it's a reset.
Really be a reset. That's actually 100%. I'm surprised. I wonder if anybody's created a for-profit, prison for like the rich, where they just kind of
get your shit together.
Yeah, get your shit together weekend. Can we start that along with our medical book?
Please.
Can that be our new business?
Please.
These are $1 billion ideas.
They really are.
These are
we in flow right now.
We are in high, hardcore flow. Thank you, Stephen Kotler. We are in hardcore flow right now. No psychedelics needed. I did slip you some psilocybin in your
White for sure. I would think White Claw slip that shit in my shit.
Are you a fan? I've never tried because I'm not a big drinker. So is it like what's in it? What's the thing? Like what?
It's just seltzer water and some vodka.
No.
It's vodka? Is that what it is?
Is it vodka? Let's see. Okay, purified carbonated water, alcohol.
Is that really what it says? Like purple drink?
Yeah,
it's just alcohol.
That's it. Cane sugar and citric acid.
Red dye number 5.
Yeah, but it tastes like sparkling water. It doesn't taste like alcohol.
But does it sneak up on you? It does.
I'm over here talking about prison is the key to success.
We've officially gone off the rails.
Yeah.
Have you ever had the chance to go and experience an actual prison? Not as an inmate, but like.
No, juvie, yes.
Okay, all right.
Yes. Have you?
Yeah, there's a really amazing organization called Defy Ventures, DEFY. I think it's like defyventures.org. It's a nonprofit. And they bring people in to the prisons to do mentorship with the inmates. And they don't call them inmates. They call them EITs, entrepreneurs in training.
That's amazing.
They have a beautiful message because they say one of the slogans for the program is transform your hustle.
Okay.
Because these people, they have hustle.
Oh, 100%.
We just need to rechannel it into something that's, legal.
Yeah.
Right? But the interesting thing is I went and I did a weekend at Pelican Bay, which is the only Supermax state prison in California.
Yeah.
I didn't know when I signed up that I was going to be going to that prison.
Almost like Rikers. Jesus Christ.
So what they told me, I was like, is it really that bad? And they said, just so you know, if you murder somebody in another prison, you get sent to Pelican Bay. Like that's, so it's hardcore. So we go and there's like 30 of us as mentors. There's 150 of the inmates / EITs. And they're a part of this like 9-month program where they actually get a certificate from Baylor University at the end for like entrepreneurship. So they learn it. It's amazing, but they have to be on their best behavior. They have to like show up and do all the work. It's a lot of stuff. So we're there for 2 full days and I had the most amazing experience getting to meet those guys. But I also had, I think my biggest takeaway, and this is way before 13th even came out, but it really solidified it when I watched 13th afterwards, was how fucked up the prison system is. It was like the stories I heard from the men there, and then my experiences with the correctional officers and hearing directly from their mouth the way they talk about things in there.
Yeah.
I was just like, this is completely fucked. They are set up to lose. And we did this exercise called On the Line, and there's some people who have done it online where you can see it as well, but they had 2 pieces of tape that were all the way down the entire length of the gym. We were all in a gym together. So it was like the correctional officers are up top with the shotguns and stuff and everything. And there's like, they're making sure to protect us because it is a dangerous environment. They had just had a big riot there like 6 months earlier. Wow. And 4 of the prison guards almost were killed and a lot of stuff going on there. So they put this tape down, and the tape is probably like, I'd say maybe a foot apart from each other, right? It's about a foot gap between the 2 pieces of tape. And they have all the EITs, all the inmates on one side, and then all the mentors, all the volunteers on the other side. And then the facilitator starts calling out life circumstances and says, if this applies to you, stay on the line, keep your feet on the line. If it doesn't, take 5 steps back. And they started reading these things out. And what we started seeing was that we were not much different than the people that were in this prison.
Right.
And calling out things like, one or both of my parents were an alcoholic. And you see people on the line. I've done things before that I should be in jail for, but I never got caught.
Yeah.
People, like all this stuff that you're like, wow, I was one decision or one being caught away from being on the same path as you. Yeah. And then we met some of these guys in there, which was, Court, just like baffled the crap out of me.
Yeah.
There was a guy that has been in and out of some kind of prison since he was 6 years old.
Jesus.
He stole a bike at 6. The man is now 45 years old. He's been in jail aggregate 25 to 30 years, and 12 of those years were in solitary.
Yeah.
And it's like we're the only country in the world that incarcerates children and then wonder why they feel like they're not set up to win going forward.
And then you become dependent.
Yeah.
Off the camaraderie that you feel when you go to prison.
It's some sense of family. It's some sense of normalcy.
Dude, have you watched the show on Netflix? The guy who was convicted wrongly in the UK, who travels to the craziest prisons in.
No.
Oh my God, you have to see it.
Oh,
It's called The Craziest Prisons in the World. Okay. He goes to Sao Paulo and he goes to Norway, and it's just like showing like how different it is. Even though like our prison system is pretty fucked up, they show you at like certain prisons, there are no like separate rooms. They're just in a yard, and they have to go through the trash, and they basically like are collecting like the plastic and like selling and like getting the food that people left over in the trash to eat.
What?
It's insane.
How does that happen?
Because like, I have no idea, but like people are doing like petty crimes, and like they're putting them in a prison system. You have to watch it. It's on Netflix.
I'm gonna check it out.
It's going to blow your mind. But you know, it's interesting that you share that story, because I feel like you only know, or we only know what we see in the media.
Right.
Like, for instance, I had a conversation with 2 guys who were in jail, 2 Black dudes. I was talking to them, and they were like, yeah, I mean, like, prison was cool. Like, shit, we made friends with the correction officers, and we was eating Chick-fil-A. We had cell phones and shit. And for me, I was like, no. And they're like, absolutely. They were eating Chick-fil-A. They had a phone. They had an iPad. They were watching all the new shows.
Wow.
And not to like glamorize prison, but there's so much that we have no idea about that goes behind the scenes. And I'm just like, wow. Like, we know nothing.
It's a whole ecosystem. It's like how Google has their campus.
Yeah.
It's its own Earth.
Dude.
It's its own planet.
It's crazy.
It's insane though. And it just seeing kind of what they do to them and like, you know, they have to, in order to stay in this amazing program where they get to learn all these things, they have to also keep their prison job, right? They have an actual prison job. And then I was having lunch with a couple of the inmates, and they were telling me a story, and they had to like whisper it so that the correctional officer don't hear. They said, listen, they know that if we don't go to our job, we can't stay in this program. Mm-hmm. So they will schedule our job time during the class time. If they don't go to class, they get kicked out of the program. If they don't get to the job, they're kicked out of the program. So the correctional officers are actually doing things to get them kicked out of the program. And I was like, okay, I believe you, but maybe it's like just a couple of them. It's like a few bad apples. And then I start hearing stories from all of them, and they're like, this program is fucking bullshit. These guys, they're not going to get any better. This is all bullshit. And they don't believe in anything. And I'm like,
the correctional officers.
The correctional officers.
Wow.
Like, and so for me, and this is going to sound really like crazy and over the top, but it's really what I feel. If we're not truly trying to rehabilitate people,
what are we doing?
Then when they get arrested, we should kill them.
Yeah.
Because if we don't want to ever have them be productive citizens, then why are we
keeping them? We're keeping them for labor though.
And this is why the 13th was such an eye-opening thing, was to see all that happening. It's insane. I think prison reform is here's the thing. People get in these arguments where I'll be like, prison reform is such a big thing. And they're like, yeah, but what about the environment? And what about this? It's like, it's a both and. It's not an either or, right? Whatever you believe in and whatever the thing you want to attach to, you're not saying everything else doesn't matter or whatever. Yeah. But like, I think that's a big one for me. And I want to think about that. And people that are worried about the environment, I'm so happy they're worried about the environment.
Right.
You take that one on.
Exactly.
You, right. So that's the thing for me.
There was a big thing that came out recently because Kanye West is running for president. And he said that he wanted to repeal the 13th Amendment. But what he meant was, if you read the 13th Amendment, it says that you can't have slaves unless they're prisoners, basically. Like there's a loophole. Right. That's why we're able to have cheap labor with prisoners, is from that loophole. So what he was saying was, we should change that.
Right.
Which, I mean, it does seem messed up. And we were talking earlier about Kamala Harris and how she was denying DNA testing so that these prisoners could get exonerated from their cases because there was crazy wildfires in California and they needed the cheap labor to put out these fires. So
yeah, and that they talk about that in the 13th, is that as soon as the slaves were freed, the law went into effect that it basically allowed them to be put back into prison for the most minor things, for like it wasn't panhandling. What is it's just such a I don't even remember what the word is, but it's like the most minor thing in the world that like you would maybe get like a $20 citation if you were a white person.
Yeah.
And you would go back to jail. And then once you're in jail, that's what the 13th Amendment loophole was.
Right.
Well, if you're a prisoner, then we still get to have free labor.
Yeah, and they had like the 3 strikes rule, obviously, too. So, so it's like something I wouldn't get in trouble for, but if you already had the other charges, then you go to jail for like 10 years or 5 years or whatever it is.
Crack and coke. They had the same thing with crack and coke.
Yeah.
The amount of like you could have, what was it? For the same amount of crack and coke, you had 10 times longer of a sentence for having the possession of the crack versus the coke.
Literally.
So what kind of things were you teaching the prisoners? Because I don't want to get too off topic.
Yeah.
Because I think this is fascinating that you are brave enough to go into prisons and teach people that. Do they really want to be taught, or they're just over it?
Yeah.
I mean, there's probably a lot of people like that are just like, who cares? Like, I'm in jail. Like, and what does this guy know?
Yeah.
Right.
And I was terrified going in, but it was less, I wasn't as terrified. Well, I wasn't as terrified for my physical safety at first until I got there and somebody else that was a mentor was like, oh, how many times have you done this? I'm like, this is my first. And they're like, and you picked Pelican Bay for your first one? I'm like, yo, I don't know. I just signed up and they just sent me here. So I got a little scared once they said that.
Yeah.
But my whole thing was like, before I went, my commitment as much as possible was going to be, so another part of Defy that they talk about, which I really love, is they say, imagine if you were only remembered for the worst thing you ever did, right? And I've never murdered anybody, and I've never raped anybody.
Yeah.
I've never stolen anything of major value. And as a little kid, I stole a bunch of candy bars. I used to work at CVS, and I would like tuck my pants into my shoes at the end of the night, and then just walk down the aisle, start throwing
sliding,
candy, just all day. But nothing major. And still, whatever is the worst thing I've ever done, I do not want to be remembered just for that.
No.
And so going into this whole experience, my commitment to myself was that I was going to try to see the next version of them, not the X version of them. That was my whole thing. So what we were doing, it sounds super cliche, like, oh, I learned more from them than they learned from me. But it's true. Like, so we're sitting there, and part of what we were doing is coaching around entrepreneurship stuff. So when we went in, we were there all day Saturday with the people that were graduating from the program. So they were about to do a business plan, like competition, and like present whatever their business was. And then Sunday was the brand new people coming in. So we got to work with the graduates, and then we got to work with the brand new people. And so me and another guy were coaching this guy around his business plan and everything else. He was presenting it to us, and he wanted to create a food truck that was based on his family's recipes. Like his family has amazing recipes of Mexican.
That's cute.
Guy, right? It was amazing. And so he has this whole plan laid out of this is how much it's going to cost to buy a used food truck, and this is how much the refurb is going to be, and this is the cost of goods for the food and all this other stuff. And so the dude that I'm with that's doing the mentorship stuff, he goes, what website did you go to get all these numbers? And the guy says, oh, no, we don't have internet. Like, well, so how did you get the numbers? He's like, oh, I wrote letters home to my family and said, can you please look up these different things and send it back to me? And I'm like, the number of excuses that I make in my life.
Oh my God.
With all the shit I have access to. And this guy's like, yeah, I had to write home. And he's like, and he's on it and he loves it. He's in it. And it just shows that like, when you want to focus on being resourceful, like the whole, like, what's your excuse folder is a big thing for me.
Yeah.
I see people doing this thing. I'm like, oh, that's going in the what's your excuse folder for me. Because it's like, it's amazing to see that. So we did a lot of mentorship around kind of like how to position the companies and stuff like that. But the deeper conversations were conversations like that. And so then there was another guy that I was mentoring, and he shared the whole thing or whatever. And I'm just giving him feedback like, dude, this is amazing. This is great. Like, and I'm giving him little tweaks here and there. And then I see he's like, starts to get sad. And he was like he was really happy to be in it and to be a part of this whole thing. And I asked him, so what's going on? Like, it seems like something shifted for you. Like, you were really excited about this and all of a sudden you're not. He said, listen, a lot of the guys here are never getting out, right?
Yeah.
They're in here for life. He said, I am actually getting out fairly soon. And I feel guilty that, number one, I'm even in some business plan competition. And number two, that I'm going to go be able to live my life given how I hurt somebody else. And it's like, to think that these people are not humans, that nobody's condoning whatever they did. Yeah. But they still have emotional trauma from going through this. They're not just like, oh yeah, I'm going to serve my time and get out and go fuck around. Right. They're like, they are also traumatized. Yeah. And there's no support. There really is no support for them. So anyways, it was a beautiful experience. That guy actually ended up winning the entire competition.
Oh, wow.
Cool. Love that. So he'll have like a check for like $1,000 waiting for him.
Yeah.
They can't give him.
When is he, do you know when he's getting out, or did he say?
I wonder if he's out by now, because I did it.
We should find him. We should find him and bring him on the podcast.
We gotta eat that food truck.
Yo, seriously. This is a different guy. The food
I
truck.
want to help fund that food truck. What's up?
Seriously.
I'm serious.
And they actually have, Defy has stuff too where you can help the inmates when they come out.
Yeah.
So if you want to like mentor them when they come out.
Hells
as well.
yeah.
So if you guys ever get a chance.
We need to get some links for that and add that to this because I would love to help promote that.
It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
One of the best experiences of my life. I did it 2 years ago and I would do it again.
Can girls do it?
Yeah, we had women there as well.
Okay.
It was actually really interesting too. So funny you say that. So when the whole on the line thing happening, when we're all standing on the line there, there was some emotional shit that came up for everybody.
Yeah.
And like I'm crying at one point and like, there's this 350-pound black dude in front of me crying at one point. And this weekend that we were there, that was the first weekend ever where they allowed the male inmates and the male mentors to hug. And so literally at one point, it's me and 3 of the inmates just like hugging each other.
Yeah.
And like people are crying and everything else. With the women, they were allowed to shake hands, but they weren't allowed to hug. That was the only difference.
I would be kind of nervous pulling up in there. I'm like, hi.
Yeah. Especially you coming up in there.
Yeah, I don't know. Wilhelmina model. I'm like, hey guys. I don't know.
Hands are getting a little low.
Oh my God. Oh, wow, fam.
I'm lonely.
It was so
My
funny.
name Jeff.
I mean, shoot.
Why does Jeff talk like that?
Because he was trying to pretend like he was Hispanic, but he didn't know how to do an accent. And so he just was like, my name is Jeff. But like, yeah.
That's Hefe trying to holler.
Yeah, basically.
That's Hefe trying to holler. I remember the second day. So the first day was the first day and everybody was kind of like a little on edge or whatever. And then we really just like settled into it and we're having fun. And it's a very small group of people from this prison that are in this program. Very, very small. They go back into general population. And that was one of the issues with one of the correctional officers is when he was like, there was a riot here 6 months ago. And I see guys in this room right now that ran towards the violence. And somebody else who was next to me who like kind of whispered in my ear is like, yeah, it's because all these guys are in gangs. If they don't run towards the violence, their gang will kill them.
And we bored, so what's fuck?
And we bored.
We bored as about.
We write letters home to get information about food truck refurbing. So they don't have a whole lot.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, it was. But it was so the second day we came back in. And we're walking, we have to walk in a certain single file line and everything else. And we're walking by the yard and there's these 2 dudes like, yo, Jay, what up, Jay? They start yelling at me from behind. It's like, what's up, man? We'll see you in a little while. I was like, I already made friends with these guys.
The homies.
The homies.
They got your back when they come out, low key.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Actually, when I came home from that, I did a Facebook Live and I was really like fired up about it. And I was talking about the experience and kind of what I didn't like what I saw. And then I was like, I probably should take that down because if I ever go back and those correctional officers had seen the video, they may just like make sure some other stuff happens that's not supposed to happen.
Yeah.
So I took that one down.
Yeah.
But it was an amazing experience. If you guys ever get a chance, definitely do it.
Yes, I would love to. That would be so cool.
It's
What do
incredible.
you think? Yeah.
Yeah, it's dope.
I wonder what the qualifications would be for a correction officer because I feel like it's pretty low.
I think it's like, okay.
Too low.
Let me not say what I was about to say.
Too low.
But yeah.
If
Remember
I
like
might add.
Rick Ross was a correction officer?
That's right.
Yeah.
That
Remember he
was
got so much shit over that?
He did.
Yeah. He's the feds. He's the feds. Like,
Yeah.
no, he's a correction officer. Like, it's different.
Totally different. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I wonder what the weirdest jobs are of some of the hardest rappers. Like what's the softest job that the hardest rappers have ever had?
Subway.
Yeah, that for sure. Yeah, that's seriously it. Yeah, I toasted subs like a motherfucker.
Yeah. Right.
Sandwich artist.
That's so funny.
But I think the whole thing with Rick Ross, what people gave him shit for, there was like an inmate that was named Rick Ross or something, and it was like some crazy story.
No,
of
that was the
business that he had.
BME blowing money fast guy that he took basically there was a mob boss.
Big Meech.
That he took the name over. They call me Big Meech, Larry Hoover. So basically he took the persona of him and then created Rick Ross. So I think that was what the issue was. But yeah.
Yeah, could you imagine you're just like locked up, you're bored, and you see this one of the biggest rappers like in the game, and you're like, God damn it, that could be me. He stole my identity.
And now he's getting money.
I'm gonna get revenge.
That's funny. Yeah.
That's really interesting. So Big Meech was like an alter ego for him, or
no? But I think Big Meech was like, probably like a head honcho, like Larry Hoover, like gang member, but like, mob boss type, Frank Lucas type shit. And I think he just probably took the persona of him because I think Big Meech was locked up or dead or I don't know.
Okay. You got to make sure he's dead. He can't just be locked up. You can't take that.
Because when he locked up, he out technically.
Exactly.
He's technically out.
He can still run whatever he wants.
Yeah.
So that is the lesson, kids. If you're watching at home and you want to take on a gangster persona, make sure said gangster is dead.
Make sure his whole family is dead.
Make sure.
Because if he got any loose sons, like, 13 kids running around like Young Thug, your ass is what?
Poor Young Thug.
Hire some protection.
For real.
Protection.
If you could party with any rapper, dead or alive, who would it be?
It's actually a really easy one for me. I really, so party or like hang out?
Party.
Rage.
Rage, motherfucker.
That's going in. Okay, so
that's going to be a button later. Rage, motherfucker. Hey, brother.
Yo,
that was Hulk Hogan.
Or Randy Savage?
Oh, Randy Savage. You're right,
Randy Savage.
Yeah. What you gonna do, brother? No, that was
brother.
That's
Hulk Hogan for sure.
So if I'm talking about party, and this is literally just party, because I think this person is the most ridiculous human being on the face of the planet, is Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Wow, interesting.
Just to be around him, to see what he's up to.
You know what? I feel like he'd be really cool, and I feel like he would give you money.
He would definitely give you money.
He would definitely give you money. Like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's go throw some money in a strip club, you know?
3 million on you ain't got 7 watches at $150K a piece. You ain't got that.
But you might have to hide that you hung out with him.
Oh, I would 1,000%.
You couldn't post.
No, 1,000%.
Yeah.
But if I was just hanging, Big Sean.
Yeah.
Sean's a conscious dude. Sean is like, I actually have a picture with Sean, which is really funny. He came to a Mind Valley event.
I've met Big Sean before.
He seems so cool. I didn't really get to talk to him.
He is very, very fucking cool.
Man, I want to hang with him so bad.
He's really cool. I might have a connect for you. I used to be really good friends with one of his cousins. So
yeah. His coach is somebody who's a Mind Valley author.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know if it's like his only coach, but like he's like a feng shui kind of person he's worked with. And like he does stuff on Insta where he's like sharing all these books he's reading. Like
he does like what's the book?
Asking is Given. He says he reads it like once or twice a year.
There you go. That was
Abraham
it.
Hicks,
Yeah. He reads that like once a year, he said, right?
Yeah.
And lyrically too. Like he has a lot of deep stuff.
He really does.
It's like you have to really listen for it, but it's there.
And he talks about meditating all the time.
All the time. Yeah. He's a huge
he had that one project called I Decided. Which I thought was really cool because it's just the idea of make up your mind of what you want, get a clear vision of what you want, and just commit to it and just decide.
Yeah.
When you have that split energy of like, I want to do this, but I want to lose weight, but I don't want to work out. I want to have a big podcast, but I want to like grind and figure out how to make it happen and buy all the equipment that I need to buy. Yeah. It's like, get rid of the but.
Yeah.
That was something powerful I learned too, is change the but to an and.
I love that.
I want to work out or I want to lose weight and I'm going to have to work out or like whatever, Because when you had the but, then it just, the momentum is against you.
Well, yeah. And there's this really awesome concept called competing commitments by a guy named Robert Keegan. He wrote a book called, it's really actually a really funny name for a book, but he's not a funny guy at all. The book is called Immunity to Change.
Okay.
Right? People who are like immune to change, they won't change. And he talks about competing commitments. And the beautiful thing about competing commitments essentially says, and we've all said this at some point or another, like, I'm just not committed enough. I'm just not disciplined. I need to be more committed if I want to hit that goal. I start on this thing and then I self-sabotage, like all those kinds of words, right?
Yeah.
And what Keegan points to is that really what's going on is we are extremely committed. We're just committed to two things at the same time that conflict with each other.
Yeah.
So a lot of people will say like, I'm committed to losing weight and being healthy, but I'm also committed to not being a slave to the gym and like eating like a bird and doing 10 hours of meal prep a week. And whichever commitment is stronger is the one that wins.
Right.
And so the way that I play with this is I've kind of added my own little thing on it is I try to help people see, and myself as well, of course, all this stuff is also for me, is how the thing that I think is in conflict with what I want actually supports the thing I want. Right? Okay. So if I were to say like, I really want to, there was a client I had who was doing really well in business. She was like her second year in business and she had hit like $500,000 in her business rate. She was crushing it. And she was also maybe like 40 pounds heavier than she wanted to be.
Okay.
And every time she tried to go to the gym, she would self-sabotage. She'd do it for a week and then she'd stop, or she would eat good all day and then have a cookie and then say, fuck it, I'm just going to have a whole pizza. And she would be like, I don't
feel her ass.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't have time. I'm running a successful business.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
So the competing commitment became, I really want to get healthy and lose weight, but I also don't want to sacrifice my business.
Right.
Because she had the belief that if she took time out of her business to go work out and eat healthy, that her business was going to decline.
Yeah.
And so if you care a lot about your business and she was a single mother and she has a young son, like you don't take away from the business. You do everything you can in the business. So we started playing with that and saying, okay, cool. How is you going to the gym? How does that actually explode your business in a good way? How does it actually increase your business?
Right.
And she's like, it doesn't. Like it's taking time away. I said, cool. Let's just slow down and think about this.
Yeah.
And we started thinking about it. And her big thing was like, she wants to make more impact in the world.
Yeah.
And she knows that being on stage is a big part of that. And she doesn't feel comfortable in her skin. So if she were able to go to the gym and work out and feel a little better about the way she looked, she would get on more stages, be more confident, impact more people. She'd make more money. And we start seeing these connections, and this exists for everything. So anything we say we want to do, but then we're also committed to like an opposite kind of thing. It's just asking, how can that thing actually be in support of and not in conflict with the thing that I'm trying to create in my life?
This is so funny because yesterday I had a conversation. I was thinking about bringing on, she's a Reiki healer, and I had a really good conversation with her, and she's also a life coach. And I was deciding if I wanted to start a program with her. And one of the things I told her is that one of the issues in my life is I have a lot of conflicting energy, like an immense amount of conflicting energy, because I'm two people. I'm this fun, really cool extrovert, but I'm also like feeling like I'm also this partier, crazier. And it's like this energy of like doing what I want, but then feeling guilty, but then like loving what I do and then feeling guilty. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I had that conversation with her yesterday. And for you to come here and say that is so crazy because it's so true. And I had this envisionment of what I wanted to do, but like my ultimate goal and dream of this world is a nonprofit, right? But modeling, it's like, I want a certain lifestyle. I want to live a certain way. And there's a certain way that I want to live. And I'm not sure that having a nonprofit be the only thing that in my life equals my life that I want.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Totally. And so, but that's not true because other people could pay for that nonprofit and I could be making money becoming a successful model and having that nonprofit. So
and people that work for nonprofits get salaries still. So.
Right. Totally. For sure. I was just on the idea of I don't want to ever charge somebody for this nonprofit who needs it. I would never charge them. And so it's funny to have this conversation because it's like, I'm trying to figure out how to do both. And it's not how. I'll never know the how. I have to just do it.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Totally.
And if things will work themselves out, but I just have to commit to the belief that it is possible.
Yep.
And that's one thing I learned.
And that's, I love that. So everything you said, I so agree with that. And then the really cool thing you look at is like, in order for you to have a successful nonprofit, it's going to require you to step into a different level of leadership. Right. And so what better way to be a leader than to figure out how I can be a model and empower people to be running the nonprofit if I still want to be focusing on modeling, right?
Exactly.
It doesn't have to be me.
Yeah.
So the answer to the how is actually in the who.
Yeah.
Right. It's not the how, it's the who.
Yeah.
Because you can always find somebody that knows how to do the thing.
Right.
So it's like having a nonprofit that allows you to still focus on modeling is probably the number one vehicle for you to step into leadership.
Yeah.
Right. So they support each other.
Right.
It forces you to become an even better leader.
Yeah.
And then that's going to spill into your modeling. You're going to be even more of a leader.
It's crazy how it works.
It all works together.
Dude, you know what I always think about? It's like, I don't know that my parents had friends like this. Do you know what I mean?
They didn't talk about
or had conversations like this. And I'm just so blessed to know you and like be a part of Mind Valley. And just like, this doesn't happen too often to people. And I just feel like it should.
Totally.
It totally should. Like, you know, the things that you think about are the problems that you have. Like, I just was talking to her yesterday and now you're here today. And like, now you're like basically summing up what I needed to know.
Yeah.
I don't know. We got to get people on this wave because I just feel like not a lot of people have this opportunity.
Well, that's a big challenge. And it's why, like, even the work that I'm doing right now in the world, I know it's not my greatest service, my greatest contribution. And I'm grateful for my business and I love the work that I do. I just know that there are people in middle America and even people in California where these kind of conversations do happen that still don't have access to people who are having these conversations just because it's kind of in our little bubble. Most people don't have access to it. So my whole thing, and this was something that was created by two brothers who were designers. I think they were furniture designers way back. I think it was like the 30s or 40s, something like that. But they came up with this phrase when they were building furniture. And when I heard this phrase, it really hit me in the heart of what I want my business to actually look like. And they had this phrase, and it's about in building their furniture, how can we give the best to the most for the least?
Wow.
And I'm like, that is a beautiful place to live from. How can I give a lot of the stuff I do is like high ticket and it's like premium because there's a lot, and that's fine. I love that and I'm grateful for it. And how can I give the best to the most for the least?
Yeah.
And so I'm always thinking in the back of my head and I'm always trying to like figure out how can I leverage what I'm doing now the same way you would model the leadership you created in modeling and the name you created in modeling and the relationships you created in modeling. All those things are transferable and portable over into the work you want to do in the nonprofit.
Yeah.
It's always looking out for those connections because success leaves clues. So everything you have done to become successful as a model, all of those things will fill into being successful in a nonprofit.
And, another part is like not being so fucking hard on yourself.
Totally.
Golly. I'm like, some days I'm like stressed. Like, okay, what else should I do? Should I do I have to post on Instagram? Like, do this. And I'm just like, oh man, I'm just chilling today. Like I gotta chill. Cause it's just like a lot, especially with media. It's like you feel a lot of pressure. And I couldn't imagine how it would be to be like 15 right now.
Yeah, and I think that's why there's probably more cases of eating disorders and a lot of other things. It's like I can't imagine it either. Like with TikTok and stuff. Especially,
oh my God,
TikTok is out of control. By the way, I don't know. Are y'all?
I fucking love TikTok.
I love it too as a voyeur. I don't post anything.
Yeah,
but I do watch it. I'm fascinated by the platform. I'm fascinated, and I'd love to know from Matt.
Yeah,
I'm fascinated about what it's done for music.
Yeah, you know what's funny is don't you feel like if a TikTok song someone uses, like let's say what's her name, Charli D'Amelio. She uses a song, that shit blows up. That song is #1 on Billboard that next week.
Yep.
Yeah, there's so many hit songs that happened this year because of TikTok. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But the good thing about that app is how they're integrating the music and the freedom. It's like every time there's a new platform, they have this freedom because there hasn't been some corporate overlord yet that has added all these restrictions yet. It's like the same thing with Vine.
Yeah.
Like Vine was so cool because people were just making these videos and there was no restrictions or crazy guidelines TikTok is strict. Like you can't do anything like curse words or drug related.
You can curse.
Or whatever.
Yeah, but sexual. You can't say sexy or
anything like that. But the idea that people can use a song and make a video for it, and we have songs that I made 5 years ago that literally have 1.8 million videos made. This isn't views. This is 1.8 million people made a video using the song.
Yeah.
So that means if I really added up all those views, it would probably be like 500 million or something crazy. And the music video has 5 or 10 million views. That we spent 10 million, or not, we spent $10,000, $15,000 on a music video to get 10 million views, and all these kids made 1.8 million with their iPhones.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But if I post on Instagram using cheat code song and it wasn't cleared by our label, Instagram takes it down.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the fact that there's this platform where there's this freedom and everyone's cool with it, and as a musician, you're cool with it, it allows something to virally take off in that way. And I think that's why there's so many hit songs this year that are because of TikTok and you can credit. And that's how Spotify used to be, and all these, when streaming services first became a thing, and then all the big record labels and corporations got involved and kind of got their hooks into it. And it is what it is, but there's always going to be a new thing, There's always a new platform. There's already a new platform that's built to supposedly taking over TikTok.
No,
it's called
don't
Triller.
tell me.
Yeah,
Triller's like the hip hop version.
Yeah.
That's the Eddie Murphy Raw version of Steve Martin.
I need to get on Triller then.
Oh my God.
I think it's really amazing because I've heard there's actually people whose careers have been reinvented or reinvigorated because of TikTok. Like there were songs or people who kind of fell off. And they weren't really doing anything anymore. And then all of a sudden, like somebody picks it up, somebody does a dance to it. And it's even the dances are really interesting. It's not
There's
dancing.
a lot of old school songs on there.
Yeah, a lot of old school songs, but the type of dancing, it's like not traditional dancing either. It's like there's a special set of moves that it seems like TikTokers typically use. So it's like a whole new genre of art creation that's on there. It reminds me a little bit of like, did you ever do anything or see anything about like the hit record platform that Joseph Gordon-Levitt did?
No, I don't know anything like. Oh, maybe.
Yeah. It was. Basically,
it must have been a short-lived thing.
I don't even know if it's still around.
I think I saw like one ad for it, and then it was gone.
Oh, I wonder if it's still around, because I heard him. I had known about the hit record platform, but then I heard him on. Do you listen to Dax Shepard's podcast at all? Armchair.
No,
Expert?
I've never heard it.
Really, really good, really awesome podcast. Not as good as this one.
Yeah, exactly.
But he had Joseph Gordon-Levitt on there, and he did this thing called hit record, and the entire point of it was community creation. So people would like start some kind of musical thing or start some kind of like creative thing and then pass it off to the community, and the community would add the next layer onto it. And so it was like literally like it was never finished. It was a true collaboration with the entire community, which I think that's kind of cool too, man. Creativity is crazy right now. So how are you guys doing stuff like with the group? Are you guys still creating remotely together, or how is that working for you guys?
Yeah, we're working together. It's all good. But I was gonna say that it's interesting. I remember when streaming, like with Spotify and Apple Music, was like a thing, and that was our main focus, and the whole mentality was, you need to get people hooked. Like maybe Spotify or Apple Music will add it to a playlist, and that's your opportunity. Somebody needs to get hooked to that song and then add it to their playlist. So you're kind of creating a format of the music you're making so that it appeals to that playlist. The playlist might be like dance hits or like chill workout, whatever it is. So it's funny how the platforms change how you create the music. And then now you have TikTok and the algorithm is dictating you need to have a hook that catches your attention in 15 seconds. Yeah. So it's like changing how people are making music again. So it's kind of interesting how platforms do that.
That's really dope. And it's also,
water.
Oh, thank you so much.
Just a little something,
You're so
something.
sweet, just to wet my palate a little bit. What does this even say? Pamplemousse?
Yeah.
What the hell? What's a pamplemousse?
They be trying to come up with shit.
It's like some Iowa deer or something?
It's definitely grapefruit, but
pamplemousse. But yeah, no, it's crazy too, because it's, I think it's awesome because what's changed so much, I think, in music is that you don't have to wait to be chosen anymore. Yeah. Like for any artist, any creative of any kind, you don't have to wait to be chosen anymore, which is kind of nice.
Shit. Somebody choose me.
Taking a sip of my pamplemousse.
Yeah, take a sip.
Pamplemousse.
Okay, so we're gonna do something.
What are we doing?
We're gonna blindfold you in our Gucci blindfold.
So it's one of those podcasts.
You know what I'm saying? And we are gonna make you try soul food blinded, and you're gonna have to tell us what it is.
Amazing. I'm in.
All right, you put the blindfold on,
right,
and then I'm gonna get the shit.
Okay.
All right.
Well, let's hope it's not actual.
No, it ain't shit. No, this is one of my favorites, and I'm gonna feed it to you because it'll be easy because you're blindfolded, so you'll be able to see. Okay, hold on.
Okay. All right, I can't see anything.
Good.
He's like, finally, I was hungry over here.
Gucci.
It's all Gucci.
Gucci gang.
All right.
So afraid. Right?
Oh, I see a plate.
Uh-oh. Smells good.
Shit is good.
Whatever it is, smells good.
Okay, so we are going to start with number 1. And I'm going to show the camera. This one right here.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to feed it to you, and you just have to tell us what it is. All right.
Open wide.
All right.
Oh, that's heaven. It's macaroni and cheese.
Yeah.
That's really, wow, that's really good macaroni and cheese. Did you make that?
No, it's from my favorite soul food spot called Annie's Soul Food on Fairfax.
Oh, I need to go there right from here. Okay.
Okay, number 2.
Can we redo the first one again? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you know what? Go ahead. I'm going to get you.
No, it's okay. We can go.
Okay. You can actually eat this after on the podcast.
All right.
Okay, this is number 2.
Okay.
Sorry, this might be a little hot. I don't think it's going to burn your shit, but you're good. All right.
Sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
100%. So good.
Yeah. I mean, they're candy yams, but same shit.
See, I was going to say yams.
Yeah.
It always depends where in the country you are.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really
We're in LA, so technically give you sweet potatoes because you know how it goes.
Pamplemousse.
Yeah, pamplemousse.
You know how that shit go.
It ain't grapefruit, it's pamplemousse.
It has a perfect amount of cinnamon and stuff too.
Yeah, right? Okay. This one's going to be interesting.
My favorite kind of food.
Okay. Let me sure you double up.
Why is it going to be interesting?
Because it's a hit or miss. You know, you never know.
I'm so scared.
Ready? Don't be scared. You said you open for Wu-Tang. Now, come on now. Tell me if you need another bite.
Wait, hold on. I know this taste. Hold on.
Let's do one more bite.
Oh, is it a combo bite?
Yeah.
This is without the breading.
I mean, it's not a stuffing, is it?
Nope. It's a meat.
Oh, that's a meat?
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know.
Just melted in your mouth like butter.
It's not, I mean, it's not chicken, is it?
No, it's not chicken. It's not in that family.
Because it tasted like fried chicken on the first bite.
That's the breading.
That was the breading.
What else do black people eat that's fried?
You just like chicken, obviously.
Another fried meat?
Yeah, but it's not chicken.
Black people eat other fried meats?
Yeah, it swims.
I have. That is not catfish.
Yes, it is.
Was it really?
Yeah, it was.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. That breading threw me off.
Yeah, it's the breading.
That's really good. That's some good catfish.
That is some fire ass catfish.
Okay. All right.
Okay, all right.
You got me. I'm one.
Okay, it swims. What? It's a chicken.
That was helpful.
This one is one of my favorites, but this one is gonna deceive you.
Oh, okay.
But you're gonna think.
So it's my
thing.
ex-wife, or
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Deception.
You're gonna have to pay it alimony.
You owe this motherfucker money. I'm trying to get it
Oh my God, so scared.
Okay, ready? Go.
Well, that's a hard one
Yeah, it is.
because it's either green beans or okra.
Okay, so that's interesting because it has the flavor profiles or the texture of one and the flavor profile of another, but it's neither. It's definitely a leaf.
It wasn't. Is it cabbage?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
Yes,
right.
it is.
Okay, all right.
How you feeling today? Don't. I knew he was black.
That's the one I was waiting for.
That's the one. Hell yeah. All right, you got it. You can take off your blindfold.
that was
You can definitely smash that if you want. You know what I'm saying?
Did
Go
I
ahead.
get
And,
3 out of 4?
yeah, you got 3 out of 4.
Wow. So wait, what do I get for that? What's my designation?
We have a little, we don't drink.
Give him a card.
What's the card?
All right. You get this can be reneged, but you do get a black card for this.
Do I finally get my black
You get a
card?
black card.
Wait, what's the number? Do you have to get like is it 2 out of 4 or what's the?
Yeah. I would say 3 out of 4. You got 3 out of 4.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, you got 3 out of 4.
I just want to thank. Let's see, who do I want to thank?
The Academy.
Wu-Tang.
I want to thank Wu-Tang. I want to especially thank.
I want to
RZA.
thank Wu-Tang for letting me open for them.
Yeah,
Yes.
I want to thank RZA. I was actually funny enough. I was actually trying to do a TV show with RZA.
Hilarious, because I was going to bring up something. Finish yours, then I'm going to give my thought.
Yeah, so I have this amazing idea for a show.
Yeah.
And got a production company in LA to sign on that they said, we love this, we want to create it. Reached out to RZA and his people. I think he's CAA now. He moved.
Nice. Matt was signed to CAA.
Yeah, and so we were able to get it in front of him, and he said it just didn't align with what he was doing right now.
Okay. And on that topic,
Yes.
while you guys were talking, I looked up what Terrence Howard was doing.
Oh, amazing, yeah.
And this is what he's been doing. So let me just make this bigger if I can. So basically, RZA wrote a movie.
Yeah, it just came out.
It just came out called Cutthroat City, and it was Terrence Howard who was acting in it with Wesley Snipes. Yes.
I knew Snipes was in it. I didn't know Terrence Howard was in
Yeah.
it.
Well, let me just make sure. Let me fact check that, because when I pulled up Terrence Howard, it said, yeah, it says that he's in it.
No way. That
Cutthroat
literally
City.
came out like this
Yep,
week.
Cutthroat City, exclusive trailer number 1.
Wow. Yo, RZA has he has his second season of his show on Hulu.
Yeah.
Because he has a dramatic show on Hulu as well, the Wu-Tang Saga. And he has a thing with Tazo Tees.
Okay.
They did like some
I do love Tazo T.
Yeah, Camp Tazo, where he did like a creativity camp.
Yeah.
That was all based around that. And then he just came out with a meditation album
Look at him.
6 months ago. So
What the hell is a meditation album?
I think it's like tracks that he produced that
Yeah.
you can meditate to. I think it's like actual beats or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like binaural beats or something. But
Go
RZA,
ahead, boy.
man, RZA, holla at me, man. This show.
Hey, if
could
you
be
see this RZA, because I
amazing.
know you're going to see this RZA.
You got to do things to stay
on.
relevant. I remember it was like a year or two ago, Macklemore was talking about he was doing an album where he was a magician. I have no idea how that works,
Interesting.
but you just combine two things that don't fit together.
Wow.
See what happens.
That's how it works. That's oh man.
It's a formula for creativity right there.
That food is smelling good as hell.
Yo, get in on something.
No.
It's
We already ate
amazing.
that. It's for you. We would love for you to enjoy that and smack that.
I hope this is the first time ever I've eaten on a podcast.
Oh, yeah. You got it.
Smack that.
Smack
All
that.
on the floor.
Smack
Smack
that.
that.
What's the place called again?
Annie's Soul Food. Delicious. It's on Fairfax.
I'm gonna write this down real
Or
quick.
hands. Let me just make sure. And yeah, you need it. It's amazing.
Yo,
This is like the third time probably we had the food, right?
Yeah, I've had it more than that, but you'll say that.
I'm saying on the pod.
I will crush this. They probably will not deliver to the.
Where do you live?
West Side, Venice. Probably.
Fuck no. Annie's Soul Delicious. It's on Fairfax.
So delicious.
It's worth the trip though.
Yeah, it took me 3 days to get here. Actually.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. You live in Venice?
Yeah.
So my aunt is going out of town tomorrow, and we're gonna stay at her apartment in Venice. She lives on the beach.
Really?
She lives behind the Whaler.
Oh, she's right on the beach.
Oh, she's on the beach.
Oh, I'm a 5-minute drive. So
Okay.
I still have to drive.
Okay.
Dang, that's
I know.
awesome.
I know.
That's a spot. You guys go to the beach much?
I tried to because my cousins live over there. But I used to work at the Cheesecake Factory in the marina.
Did you really?
Yeah, when I
almost
first moved
in
here.
right across the street from there. When I
Oh,
first
really?
moved there, too. I almost did.
Wait, where? Okay, so if the entrance is here, those like Sky View or the Sea View or whatever.
I think it was called Marina 41 or something.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
yeah.
right across the. Yeah.
You know what's funny? That's where a lot of the rookie Laker players were living.
Really?
Yeah.
Like the team sponsored housing or whatever?
Yep. And
Really?
the training camp was like right up the street in the marina.
no idea.
Yeah, so we would see all of them all the time.
It's crazy. How was it working at Cheesecake Factory?
Fucking hated that job, but loved that job.
Were you a server?
Yes, I was, but I made so much money working at the
Really?
Cheesecake Factory. Yeah, because the Cheesecake Factory has a program. This is what I love to tell people, especially like if you're in high school, you're in college. Cheesecake Factory has a program where if you work for 6 months, they will transfer you to any city or country in the world.
What?
So you have a job. So like if you're like, oh my God, I want to move to LA, but I don't have a job. Start working at the Cheesecake Factory. After 6 months, you put in a transfer request and you'll transfer to any state.
That's insane.
That's amazing.
They still do that?
They still do it. So,
Man,
you know what I
good
mean?
looking Cheesecake Factory.
That's what I'm saying.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and working there was amazing. I
What's the
waited.
worst job you had?
Oh, Worst job I had was working at Menards.
What's Menards?
It's like Lowe's, but in the Midwest. It fucking sucked.
What the hell you know about home improvement?
Boy, nothing. I was a cashier.
Did you wear an orange jumpsuit and stuff? Like
No, it was just a vest.
Vest, okay.
It was a vest. But yeah, I like knew about like plywood, I think, and like, measurements and like, shit like.
Could you point me to the 2x4s?
Yeah, I mean, I knew a little some. And my dad loved it because he got a discount.
Of course.
Of
course, Pop's always going to love that.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, like Subway.
Did you work at Subway?
I worked at Subway. I was a sandwich artist.
Subway would be kind of fun. Because it's like not all the grease and stuff of McDonald's.
Yeah.
But it's still like you get to hang out and like.
You smell like onions by the end of the shift.
And that bread was in your hair. It's like you smell like that shit for days.
So you would smell like the bread. Was that the takeaway?
100%.
Because I worked at McDonald's, my very first job, and I would smell like the meat. Always. Constantly.
You know what? I'm sorry. Those fucking nuggets. They hit.
McDonald's.
God.
Of course.
What's up? They put crack in those things.
Of course.
Those nuggets are just next level. And that fish fillet.
Fish fillet is good too. What about McRib though?
I never fucked with that.
I didn't either.
I was too scared. I'm like, there ain't no bones in this.
Super scared.
I was nervous.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Court, didn't you say the McNuggets were like your family?
What? You bogus as hell.
Or they were like your family when you have them. It's like home sweet home.
Shut up. The nuggets was like my family.
Yeah, it's like a family reunion.
Am I high?
Yeah, you might be. Honestly,
You
we
just
put some
got a
shit in your
contact
food.
high of that soul food.
Yeah, you got the contact.
You
high.
just got a little bit of soul in you now.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Matt, what was your crazy or worst job? Not crazy.
Yeah, worst.
Yo, I had so many jobs. I also worked at Subway, so I was a sandwich artist. So that's it's pretty much why we started dating.
Yeah.
We really connected on
Good
that.
reason to start. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
No, my least favorite job was actually, and it's gonna sound kind of bad, was in LA, and I was called canvassing. So what you do is you go up to random people on the street, you try to get them to sign up for a subscription service, and what they're doing is donating, I think it was like $20 to $30 a month to Children's International, which helps a child in need. I think they were all African kids for the most part. And I didn't get one person to sign up, and I worked there for, I got paid hourly, so it didn't matter if they signed up. But basically, it was like, if you don't start getting people to sign up, you're not going to be working here for much longer.
So wait, how long did they let you work there without signing anybody up?
I think it was a week. And I remember the day that I quit, I was on Venice Boulevard. And I had only been living in LA for maybe 3 or 4 months at the time. And all my friends decided to come to Venice Boulevard that day that I was working and canvassing. And I was super embarrassed because I'm wearing this vest and I'm trying to stop people. Nobody wants to stop for me. They're there for the beach. Nobody wants to talk to me.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, screw this. I'm going to go hang out with my friends on the beach.
Yeah. I hate that person.
It's like, I love the kids, but
Not as much as the beach.
no, I just found out I'm not a good salesman. Every time I've tried, I'm not good at pushing people to do something. It feels weird, especially, I don't know. If I don't believe in the full idea of it too, it feels a little weird. Like for me, it's like, why couldn't I just get you to donate some money? Why do you have to sign up for a subscription service? So if I don't fully buy into it, then it's hard for me to convince somebody.
That's a nice quality though, because I myself would like to call myself a finesser.
What makes you a finesser?
I think that I have the gift of gab. And I can just finesse my way into a lot of situations. Like I finessed my way into a bunch of like parties that I wasn't supposed to in Coachella. Like it just, sometimes it just works out that way that you just, you know how to use words and you can use life experiences and what you've seen on TV and you're like, you can finesse your way into anything if you try.
It's like the Frank Abagnale thing. Did you ever see this movie? Catch Me If You Can.
Love
that movie.
Yeah.
Wait,
Leonardo DiCaprio?
You walk confidently enough.
Yeah.
You wear a uniform, you walk confidently enough to the airport, people think you're a pilot.
100%. You can convince anybody of anything.
I think
They want to believe you. They just don't know how.
Exactly.
So I got to show you how to believe me.
Give them the gateway.
For real.
at a certain point you realize that you're an introvert and you do an 8-hour shift of just trying to talk to random people.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing anything physically exhausting and I'm exhausted. And those are always my least favorite jobs. That one and one that maybe I hated even more than that was I worked at Hollister. And my only response...
You didn't hate that job.
No, I really did. It was my least favorite job. And you realize as you get older, your personality type and why you like certain things over other things. My only responsibility was to say, hey, what's up? As people walked in.
Literally.
That was it. I didn't have to fold clothes. I didn't have to work the cash register. When people walked in, hey, what's up? I had to wear Hollister, had to wear these tight, stupid shirts.
I remember those boys with their shirts off in front of Hollister. I'm like, oh my God.
No, I wasn't shirtless. I wore the clothes.
Oh, you weren't. But you know who I'm talking about, though.
Yeah, I know who you're saying.
So you were a hip Walmart greeter, basically.
Basically.
Okay, yeah.
But I'm just saying, why was I so exhausted from that simple ass job?
Well, but think about that. Like, why were you exhausted by that?
Yeah.
Like, because I'm curious about that.
That's what I'm saying. I think I am an introvert. So, but you don't realize it when you're growing up. You don't realize like, oh, this is actually taking my energy, where other people that would give them energy to try to have conversations with random people or just.
That gives me so much energy.
See, that's so interesting because I skew introvert.
Yeah.
But here's the thing is that there's such a misconception from a lot of people that introvert means shy.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not shy at all. I'm extremely outgoing.
Right.
But with introverts, they sometimes, especially if it's like a surface level conversation, they get totally drained.
I hate small talk. Small talk
my
drains
God,
me
he
so
hates it.
much. So it's like I have to have small talk on repeat.
Yeah.
I have to have 200 small talks in a day for my job.
Yeah.
And I'm exhausted. It's so weird. That's why I'm like,
This is why he said it's draining for him to hook up with girls on tour, previous to me, obviously. Because he said that, it requires a lot of small talk when you meet a girl on tour. And he said that he just couldn't do it.
Well, no, so that's, I mean, to me, it feels obvious, even without hearing that from you, it feels obvious to me that like connection is a value of yours, right? Like to actually connect with people. And that's like literally, that's literally connection blue balls to do that job.
yeah.
There's
You're
not even a
leaving,
payoff.
you're leaving in 12 hours.
Yeah. I get that.
worst.
So it's like, what's the point?
Exactly. What's the point?
It's like when I get to the point of where I find value, which is where I like to do these podcasts, like having intellectual, deep conversations. I value those more than, so what's going on? Like, oh, did you hear about this? Or what's the weather like? By the time you get to that point, you're comfortable with that person. You're like, all right, peace. I'm going to the next city.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah, that wouldn't work for me either, man. I'm a connection guy. That doesn't work for me either. I couldn't do the Walmart greeter. I couldn't do the Hollister.
Court's like,
Great.
I could do that. That would be fun.
Yeah, it should be fun as hell. Like, never talk to you again.
She would sell her ass off at Hollister. I bet, man. I bet they would just
For
go
real.
for it. Wait, did they have females that worked at Hollister?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Well, they had female. Yeah, they had females.
I mean, cashiers,
Yeah.
not like models. I don't think.
Oh, because it's only men's clothes, right? Hollister?
No.
it's
They
both.
have, they have
They do
girls'
both?
clothes.
Okay.
It's both,
I've never bought Hollister. I was buying cross colors and at Mark Echo with this ECHO and ECKO. I did both.
Dude, remember those Mark Echo outlets and stuff? Like Echo?
But like when Echo first came out, it was really solid.
Yeah.
And then something happened where they changed it. They changed the spelling.
Did they?
It started off ECHO. It was ECHO.
And then ECCO.
And then ECKO.
Really? With the little
thing. And
Yeah.
it's because people were knocking off the ECHO so much. This was at least the marketing side of it.
Yeah.
That they said, oh, we're gonna rebrand the entire thing ECKO. I'm like, well, what if they knocked off ECHO?
Well, okay, then yeah.
So that's why I think it was a marketing thing. But I wore FUBU.
Fat Farm.
I wore Fat Farm. The only thing I never had that I always wanted, and you're both probably too
Girbaud.
young for this. No, I had some Girbaud.
You had some Girbaud straps.
I had one pair of jeans that had like the black thing across.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to love the MFGs, man. I love those.
Yeah.
And then there was, Helly Hansen.
No, I don't remember that.
See, that was like a nautical kind of, Wu-Tang was all about Helly Hansen.
Yeah.
And I always wanted a Helly Hansen jacket.
Yeah.
I never got one.
Damn.
So,
All those old brands. Do you remember Nautica?
Of course, man. Nautica was like, do you remember they had the Nautica van?
No.
Rappers used to always rap about the Nautica van. It was a minivan.
Yeah.
That was like actually like a production minivan. I don't remember who made it, like Chevrolet or some American company, whatever.
Yeah.
And it had like the Nautica color. So it was like white, but then had like blue stripe and
Hell
yellow
yeah.
stripe and had the Nautica like logo. I was a Nautica. I was such a Nautica and Ralph Lauren fan that I would actually collect the tags,
Wow.
the actual price tags. And I had a cork board in my room and I would put them on.
So you would love Slobby.
What is sloppy?
Okay. So we have a friend named Yeezy Busta and Dre, and they own a store called Project Blitz.
Okay.
And they basically, I don't know how much vintage they have in that store, but they have a friend who has a show on
Netflix.
No, is it on Netflix? Yes, it's on Netflix. It's called Slobby's World. It's a guy who lives in Arizona, and basically, let me show you a picture of him because I'm blowing mine. He is he collects vintage stuff, like cool shit. And like, from like
He loves
Polo.
Tommy and Nautica. Like that's
All
his
of that.
jam. He's got all of
You
that
could go
stuff.
to his store, but this is him. Slobby's World.
No way.
Yeah, and he's super cool. And yeah, we actually could probably introduce you to him if you wanted to buy some Nautica shit. Yeah, you got to watch it on Netflix. So now you have some things to watch on Netflix for sure.
Yeah, I never got into Tommy because there was always, at least in my circle, in my hip hop circle, he was always seen as a racist.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so
he said he didn't want black people wearing his shit.
Oh, he actually said that?
Yeah, he said it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. For sure.
That's so, and didn't something happen with Cristal as well? Where they like started making.
They said they didn't, and then Jay-Z was like, basically like, fuck that, we're not drinking that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is like, just even from a business perspective.
Stupid.
It's so dumb.
So stupid.
It's the dumbest thing in the world.
Remember black people drinking Alizé and Hypnotic and shit? Like, oh my God. Have you ever had that, Matt?
Yo, Hypnotic seems like pure poison in the system.
Yo, it's gotta be poison.
Incredible Hulk. Do you remember the Hulk?
Yeah, that little shot.
Yep.
What was it?
It was Hypnotic and Hennessy. No, Hypnotic and...
I think it might have been Hennessy, wasn't it?
Maybe it was.
I think it was Hennessy. And it came in that little shot glass and it was like a different color, like a weird fucking color.
Yeah. It was green because it would like turn you into the Hulk.
God.
And then if you ever vomited on that, it came out the same way it went in.
Dude.
You look like Slimer from Ghostbusters, man. It was no joke.
Dude, there's so much alcohol back in the day, like Nouveau and like all those weird like liqueur drinks and damn.
Are there still, did he still have a vodka?
Ciroc.
Yes, Ciroc.
Yeah.
And then Jay has something.
Douce.
What kind of?
It's cognac.
It's cognac.
Yeah.
Okay. Who? Any other rappers?
Avion is Young Jeezy.
Okay.
And Chainsmokers actually has a tequila. I don't know how well it's doing.
Yeah.
And then who else? There's one more. Casamigos is George Clooney, and they sold it though.
Okay. The Rock has one too.
Yeah,
The Rock has one too.
I was talking to Kevy yesterday, the guy in Cheat Codes. He was saying Ryan Reynolds had some gin company that just sold for like $600 million or something.
Jesus Christ.
Gin. Yeah.
We're actually, me and him are drinking behind the scenes right now. We're drinking Wiz Khalifa's gin, McQueen.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's pretty good. You want to take a shot?
When I drink, it's gin and tonic.
Oh, yeah.
Whenever I drink, it's gin. That's the other thing. Gin and tonic with like 17 limes.
Got it.
Because I can't taste.
You don't like the taste of alcohol.
That's my only thing. It's like I drank a lot when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like when I remember New Year's Eve and I was like 17.
Yeah.
And I literally had 15 shots of vodka in one night and thought I was going to die.
And we've all been there.
Yeah. And then it was just like, getting older and then going to the club and like spending a bunch of money on alcohol and then feeling like shit the next day.
Yeah.
And so I gave it up. I mean, I'll have a drink once in a while, but I pretty much gave it up when I was like 22, 23 years old.
I get that. I get that. Damn. Well, to wrap it up, because you have so much tight shit to say, I want to ask you, like, do you have any advice for young people who are watching this, who are just like stuck in like a place and they're just like, how do I get my shit moving? Or like, how do I
break out of prison?
How do I break out of prison?
Yeah, it's so tough, man, because like, especially if you don't have a support system around you that really understands.
Yeah.
I think the number one thing is to use the internet for good.
Yeah.
In that, find a group of people who are like you, who want to have some kind of support system, create your own little mastermind of people. Because that's the thing I actually love seeing. Like, as much as some people come down on Gary Vee, I don't know if you guys follow Gary Vee.
We do.
Okay, yeah. So I love Gary Vee.
Yeah.
And I don't think Gary Vee is saying what most people think he's saying, that you should hustle your face off and never sleep. He's just saying that's what he does.
Yeah.
And whatever you do is fine for you as long as you're happy.
Yes.
But if you're not happy, then fucking change something.
Yeah.
And so I think like the people that have kind of adopted the hustle culture, at least they're like trying to find other people that are doing that. And so it's good. You can find some kind of community. So I think community is so important because your parents probably are not going to get what it is that you want to do. It's a different generation. And the friends that you came up with in high school and maybe even into college, they're probably not going to get it either. A lot of them are going to, be off on their own path, which is fine, no judgment.
Yeah.
But they're not going to be the ones to support you. So you have to find your ride or dies.
Yeah, your tribe.
You have to find your tribe. It's so important. Whatever those people are, and there's no excuse to say that, well, I'm in Oklahoma, they don't live here. You got internet, you got access. Right?
Yeah.
Go to Facebook groups, go to whatever, find that stuff. But I think the other thing too is like really focus on being of service.
Yeah.
Right. If you really figure out what it is that you love to do and that actually serves other people, it sounds cliche. There's a reason that cliches stand the test of time. It's because they're true.
Yeah.
Like, they really are true. And for me, I know anytime I get into my ego, when I'm focused on my ego, and am I looking the right way? Am I sounding the right way? Am I doing the right thing? I get so stressed about creation, about creativity, about putting myself out there, about taking risks.
Yeah.
When I shift from ego into service, and really say like, listen, my life is not even mine. My life is here to serve other people.
Yeah.
Then I don't worry about, like Jim Carrey talks about, so many people living their lives in fear disguised as practicality. I don't want to live my life in fear disguised as practicality and doing the thing that's the practical thing, the smart thing, whatever. Be smart to a point. Don't do stupid ass shit. But like, if there's something you want to create in the world, find community around what it is you want to create and make sure it's rooted in service. And if it's rooted in service, then what happens is, and I tell people this all the time that are stressed out as entrepreneurs, and they're like, I really want to build my coaching business, but I'm scared. And like, I want to do this, but I'm scared. And I say, from now on, whatever business you think you're in, right? Let's say you want to start a sneaker company or something, right? Whatever business you think you're in, you're not in that business anymore. And like, what do you mean? You are from now on an activist. Because activists don't have time to think about how they're going to show up on Facebook Live. Yeah. Activists don't have time to think about what people are going to think about them. People who are hardcore activists for a cause, they wake up every day and say, how can I further the cause by 5% today? Yeah. That's all. I don't care how it happens. I don't care who judges me or anything else. I care so much about this thing, I have to move it forward. When we shift out of I'm building a sneaker company, I'm building a coaching company, I'm starting a music group, whatever it is, and instead get into I am an activist and I will do everything in my power to make a dent in the world with the service that I want to provide to the world before I die, it's so much easier to get started and to keep moving.
Hell yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting because the way we met was through this company called Mind Valley, which is kind of a weird universe type thing because I had been using Mind Valley products for probably 7 or 8 years.
That's right. You were in Croatia.
Yeah, I was in Croatia playing a show, and not only just playing a show at a soccer stadium in Split, Croatia, in front of 100,000 fans. And in the green room, we meet somebody who works for Mind Valley. Shout out Sammy. And I tell him that I've been using these products. I've been meditating to a Bob Proctor and Vishen Lakhani meditation for 8 years. And he's like, oh, Vishen, let me FaceTime him right now. Yep. Literally FaceTimes him in our green room. Probably shouldn't have been in our green room.
Yep. Yeah. I'm like, we don't even know him. Yep. Like, who is this cool kid? Like,
Sammy definitely is a finesser. He's a finesser.
For sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And he gets Vishen on the FaceTime, and I'm talking to somebody who I've known through products and services like what you're saying for 8 years, and I'm seeing him in the flesh. And then later we end up meeting at the gathering in person, where you have this crazy experience with Shaman Durek and all this. And
I forgot about that. Because I remember trying to talk to you at one point and you're like, I can't. I gotta go. Yeah.
I was bawling.
Ooh.
Remember that?
I do remember that. That was intense.
That should change my life.
I forgot about it. That was a year ago.
Remember, you were trying to introduce me to that girl from Trinidad, and I couldn't even talk to her. And she was like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I'm sorry, girl. I can't talk to you. I have got to go."
Yo.
He made me talk to my ancestors in that party, and I started convulsing. I mean, I've told this story so many times on this podcast, but I was convulsing in the middle of the party. And he was like doing this energy thing, and I just felt this overwhelming like essence around me. And it changed me, dude. It fucking changed my life. And like, I bought his book. Yeah. And so I read his book. And so every time I bring his book out into the public, somebody stops me and it's like, can you tell me about that? Because I wanted to get that. Happens every time. Last week, I was shooting a random test shoot with this girl. And, I was just like taking pictures because, you meet up with photographers. It's called a test. She's like, yeah, I just shot this shaman last week and it was so amazing.
Shut up.
Who the fuck do you think the shaman was?
Wow.
So she sends him a voice video, a video of us. She's like, yeah, like I met this girl and like blah, blah, blah. And so she sends a video. He's like, oh my God, I remember you. Sends the video back. And it's insane. And like, she shows me, she's like, oh, I got this amazing book. And I'm like, what book do you think it was? It was the book.
That's crazy.
Literally. So I'll tell you another story. Last week, I'm shooting on Thursday for Walmart. I'm shooting and I work with this team often. And the stylist, she was like feeling a little off and like a weird. And she's like, yeah, like I've just been feeling kind of weird lately. And I was like talking to her because I've known her for years. And she's like, yeah, I had this healing with this shaman. I'm like, really? And she's like, who the fuck do you think the shaman was? So I'm just like,
wow.
Synchronicities.
He's blown up a lot in the last year. I don't know if you've been following.
Oh, I've been following.
He's been on The Doctor. He's been on Good Morning America.
Yes.
His publicist is a good friend of mine. I don't know if his publicist was there that night, Tanya.
No, I think I only met his girlfriend.
Okay, yeah. Princess of Norway.
The Princess of Norway. And like, what the hell?
People can say they're dating.
I think they introduced us, and he's like, yeah, she's a Princess of Norway. We're like, yeah, fucking right. We like Googled it right after.
She's a Princess of Norway.
She is. Yep.
I'm like, I just met a princess. This is insane.
That is. You got to get Shaman on the show.
Oh, I don't think I'm ready for that.
No,
I'm scared of him.
You have to switch.
I'm scared of him because it's like, wait, this comes up again. My grandpa was a shaman.
Okay.
And so I have like this lingering thing going on with me where I can sense energy and I'm just like very in tune. But one thing I'm dealing with is when we first met Shaman Durek, I was intimidated because I knew that when we were talking to him, I didn't want him to see me. And what I mean by see me is I didn't want him to feel my nervous energy or know that I was kind of like him. And I got nervous. And so I tried to stand behind Matt. And Matt goes to him, so like, what is it that you do? Can you show us? And he goes, yeah, I'll show you right now. And turns around to me and then does it on me. Because he immediately knew that my energy was somewhere, it's conflicting or whatever he felt. Because he didn't acknowledge me until that point because they were having an in-depth conversation. And I was kind of just like listening. Turns around immediately like, I'll show you right now. And then I was like, oh, fuck.
Oh, did you run away?
100%. I was like a deer in headlights. I was like, okay, you just got to be cool. Be cool, man. Be cool. And he completely did it. And I was just like, wow, like it completely changed my life.
That is, I totally forgot about that night.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was just like, the amount of tears that I was crying, it was involuntary. I could not stop crying. And I was like, sometimes when you feel like you have to push to cry.
Yeah.
This was not that. Tears were falling from my eyes. And I was just like in a daze. It was insane.
Now I really want him to be on the show. And I want to be here when he's here just so I can watch what happens.
Oh my gosh. I'm just like scared. Like, I don't know. He is the real deal.
Wow. That is.
I just kind of wanted to bring that up for, manifesting and attracting like-minded people. And the universe is weird like that. It's like, if you have that in your mind and you're trying to connect with those kind of conversations and energies, then they show up in your physical reality as well.
For sure. Yeah. And actually, I had this experience when I was in Australia in last December, the last time I was actually on a plane, I think actually maybe.
Wow.
But yeah, when I was in Australia, I remember being in one of those parking garages in a mall where it was like super, super underground, like 8 levels down. And when we were coming back up and we were parking on like the very bottom level. And as we're driving back up, you hear like the radio's on and you hear like a song that's trying to play, but it can't really come through. Right.
Yeah.
And the more and more we're driving up to the surface, the more and more the song is becoming clear. And what I took away from that was like, whatever it is that we want, it's always playing. It's always trying to find this. That song was trying to find me like hell.
Yeah.
Like it was going through layers and layers and layers of cement. But as long as I was taking some kind of intentional, purposeful action, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just moving in some upward spiral direction.
Yeah.
At some point, the song finally hit me. So like all the stuff that all of us want, it's trying to get to us. Like my favorite hip hop song in the world is playing somewhere right now.
Yeah.
If I tune into that frequency, it is playing somewhere right now. And that's the same thing with all of this. So like exactly what Matt's saying, like the connections and you like being supposed to meet him, you were supposed to meet him. That frequency
100%.
was there. And because you showed up, but if you didn't show up to it, it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
You had to say yes to life in whatever way you said, whether it was going to that party that night or not running away. Like you said yes to life.
Yeah.
You played improv with the universe. Like Matt said, not but, yes and, right?
Yeah.
You yes anded with the universe. And that's why you had that experience.
Yeah.
So there's something else at work.
There really is. And you just got to tune in.
You have to. You don't have to explain it. You can't fight against it.
Dude.
Yeah, it's like, I didn't even know there was a Mind Valley DJ.
Right.
That wasn't even on my radar. Like, what? Okay, you guys meditate and you guys have DJs at parties and...
Yep. I was there in Croatia when he FaceTime Vision. Because we were there for a month for
I wish we would have known that you were there and we would have been friends then and we could have had you on stage at Ultra.
I know. I didn't come to Ultra because we were in Pula.
Okay.
So I think that's like 5 hours from Split or something.
Okay.
But Sammy and a few people went and then the rest of us stayed back in Pula. But I heard Ultra was like over the top.
I don't really remember it, to be honest.
That means it was that good.
It was that good.
It was that good.
Damn.
Courtney was like dancing with the go-go dancers and stuff. She was making friends.
They were cute too. I was dancing with them.
Big surprise you were making friends.
Yeah.
Huge surprise to me that you were making
friends. Literally every day I'm just living to try and make friends. I'm like on the elevator with someone, I'm like, oh my God, cool shoes. Like, so like, what do you do, dude? Literally all the time. And it's like.
But you have such a warm, welcoming presence to you.
Thank you.
So
yeah.
It's super easy for people to be friends with you.
Yeah.
You're just so approachable and so relatable and so open. So
thank you. I try.
That's why we work well together because I like making friends. I just don't want to actually spend the energy to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. If you can come into the fray of the friendship being created.
Oh, like you're friends with Courtney? Cool. Like me too.
Yeah. So I do all the work and you just get all the benefits, huh?
I felt like you were fully present, man. When we first met, I felt like you were fully present. You were there. It was both of your shows.
Yeah.
1,000%. I'm so happy we got to meet. Man.
Me
You guys
too.
are incredible human
Man,
beings.
we are too, man.
So grateful.
Seriously.
Yo, we never got to talk about the NASA thing because I don't even know.
Oh, that's right. The NASA thing.
Are we gonna tap in?
Let's tap in.
All right, fuck it.
Let's do it.
I mean, I'm cool.
I'm cool too. Yeah.
All right, cool.
So I'll tell. I mean, it's not a super long story, but it's a fun story. So I went and got my my MBA in 2013. 2013, I went back to grad school and I was doing an executive MBA program. So it's like every Saturday for 18 months or whatever. And at one point, this is back in Florida. This is back in Orlando. And at one point, NASA had created some kind of partnership with the grad school that I went to. And they wanted them to put together a research project. They wanted to put together like 5 students that were in the MBA programs and to take a piece of technology from the shuttle program and see if there was any kind of market viability for it. So basically just do some market research, put together a PowerPoint, present it, you'll get a grade, NASA gets some information they can use, and we're done.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's just supposed to be a school project. So they picked 5 guys, myself, 4 other people. Me and one of the other guys were kind of more of a business background. Then the other 3 guys were much more engineering background. And so we actually went to NASA, got to work directly with the people who invented.
Where is that?
In Cape Canaveral.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's where the shuttles actually take off from. Like,
oh, wow.
This is the Kennedy Space Center. And so we go there and we're doing all the things. And there's a picture of me actually online with Dr. Bob Youngquist, who's the NASA scientist we work with, and an actual window from the space shuttle. And he's showing me the technology that they were using. It's so cool. So we're sitting there one night, we're doing a research project and we're sitting all together on campus. And we start talking and we're like, okay, so I know that they wanted us to just see if this technology was commercially viable, but like, what if we just like prototype the technology ourselves and like just go find them a buyer who wants to actually buy the technology? Instead of just giving them a PowerPoint presentation. And we had a mentor that was one of the professors in the college and he was like, fuck yes. Like, let's do it. He didn't say fuck yes. He's a very religious dude.
He was thinking fuck yes.
Like, yes. He was like, God yes, or whatever. I don't know. No, he probably wouldn't have done that anyway.
God yes.
God yes. God yes. God is good. So we went in on that. So we actually prototyped this non-contact inductive linear position sensor, which was used to measure the depths of cracks in the shuttle orbiter window, because they have to measure to like the 1,000th of a human hair thickness.
Wow.
Because if there's any more of a crack than that, then when they send the shuttle up into orbit, the glass can shatter, everybody dies.
Jesus.
But they also don't want to replace the windows if they don't have to because they're massively expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they created this technology. So what we did was we said, okay, we're going to find the places in industry, private industry, that could use this technology for other things that are not NASA related. Because essentially what happened was the reason NASA was even looking at this is that the government funds NASA, right?
Okay.
And the government said, y'all ain't going to space anymore. So why are we giving you money?
Right.
And NASA said, oh, no, it's okay. Because we're going to take the technology that we created for the shuttle and we're going to find a way to sell it out in the world.
We got window technology.
Yeah.
It's all good.
How's your window doing? Oh, it's bad. Good. We got window technology.
Right.
Because, that conversation happens all the time.
Got the state of the art window technology. They clean themselves, man.
I'm a window expert. So we prototyped the technology. We packaged it. We created packaging for it and everything. And we actually got a company to sign what's called it's kind of a letter of intent, a memorandum of understanding, I think is what it's called. But it's a letter of intent to basically say they want to potentially prototype this in their own company and potentially buy it. So we did this whole thing. We put this whole thing together. We go to do a final presentation. There's a room full of people. There's investors. There's NASA scientists. There's NASA leadership. There's all these people.
Wow.
And I always, this has kind of always been the thing with me in school. I would always open and close any presentation. And so I love storytelling. I'm a big storyteller. So I went up there and told like this sick story about like, hey, if you are driving your car down the road and like a little pebble pops up and hits your windshield, cracks your windshield, it kind of sucks, but your insurance will probably cover it completely for free and you'll get a box of steaks from most company. Not the end of the world. Take that same car, put it 150 miles up in the sky and have it go 100,000 miles or light years, light speed at a time, and a little pebble hits the windshield, everybody dies. So it's very important that we're utilizing technology to make sure these people stay alive. And so we're really like bringing them into the fray of, okay, where are they going to go with this? And we ported that over to showing them where there was some market viability. And they're like, oh my God, that's amazing. Then we said, and here's the contract that we have from a company that wants to use this technology. And these 5 guys, want to create a company and we want exclusive license to all those patents where we are the only ones who can do anything with them.
Wow. And
at first they looked at us like, y'all are fucking crazy. Like y'all are a bunch of like 20 somethings or whatever. I was an old man because I was in the executive program. So I was 33 at the time.
Yeah.
Y'all are crazy. And so some other company had come out of the woodworks and said that they wanted to get exclusive license to the patents. And they were $1 billion sensor company. So now 5 dudes in grad school are going up against $1 billion sensor company to try and get exclusive license to these patents. So we're sitting in a room one night and we're all kind of a little bit deflated once we heard that. And we're like, guys, we can't, we're like, look at all of our disadvantages. There's no fucking way we can compete with these people. And then we started thinking about it. And by this time I had already gotten into personal growth and stuff like that. I'm like, all right, guys, let's get creative. Let's just see, what we can do here. And what we started realizing was that our disadvantage was actually our differentiator.
Man, I was just talking about this.
So huge. It's so huge. Yeah. So we saw, like, for example, they're $1 billion company, right? So they have way more budget than we do to do research and development. But they also have a ton of different technologies from different companies, and the leadership from those different product lines are going to be fighting for that money.
Right.
We're doing one product, just the NASA product. We're not doing anything else. They have an entire bench of people. They have all these engineers, hundreds and hundreds of engineers that can do stuff. We have 3 engineers. How can we compete with that? Well, when you have hundreds of engineers, the change process takes forever. For one little thing to be changed, it has to go through like 9 layers of bureaucracy. Yeah. With us, we got an agile team. We can just flip the switch and switch.
Takes like a week to make each small decision.
Exactly. Yeah. But we had a lean team and we could be agile and we could. So we started presenting that to NASA.
Hell yeah.
And they were like, okay. And so we ended up winning the bid. So we had exclusive license to these 3 patents. And that was my fun time getting to play with NASA.
Dude.
That's cool. Insane. So what was the company's use for this technology? Because it seems like SpaceX. I don't know.
It's so funny. So there's a bunch of different things. There's like atomic force microscopy, and there's a lot of different like really stupid things that you would never think about or hear about. But the big thing we found that was a really freaking cool idea was that we realized because of the sensitivity of the sensor that we had there, at that time, 3D printing was just becoming a big thing, right? And the problem with 3D printing for home, if you ever saw like home 3D printers, is when you would print stuff, it would come out really jagged. It was never smooth. Like commercial ones, they came out smooth, but like the resin and stuff, the poly and the resin, it always came out with like jagged edges. That was because the gun, the machine that would spit out the resin didn't have a fine enough resolution on the point to be able to give you the smooth look. Well, this sensor, because it's able to measure things to 1,000th of a human hair, could get super precise. So now we see this huge industry of 3D printing that's blowing up where everybody wants really polished stuff, but they can't afford the $400,000 professional 3D printer. We could take that technology and integrate it into a $500 or $1,000 printer because the technology that we prototyped, we were able to prototype it for about $2.50.
Wow.
So it was like this crazy thing. So there's a lot of, so I decided to step down from the company. I was a CEO when we started it. And I really just I realized I really loved the starting of it, but I didn't really want to stay. It wasn't my.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't, I didn't feel like my heart wasn't in it. It was like really cool, but my heart wasn't in it. My heart was in like the personal growth, the coaching, all that stuff. So I decided to step away and I left my partners to deal with it. And they did some stuff with it. I'm not exactly sure what they're doing with it anymore right now. But the point was like, it was really cool to see that 5 guys, when we got really creative, could beat out $1 billion sensor company and work with NASA.
That's not a success story. Shit.
Yeah. It was an IG Live, but it was essentially like an Instagram version of a podcast with the CEO of Bel Air, who does the Bel Air champagne. He does the vodka that we're drinking right now, which is Violet Fog, which is like Wiz Khalifa's. And we had that same conversation of like, when you're small, you can move faster. So all the disadvantages you have, they exist, but you also have a big advantage because you're able to just focus in and move lightning fast, where these big corporations, they have to have a meeting once a week and then just to make one decision. And then they have another meeting and then they got to go down the supply chain and make sure it's approved with everybody else. And they got to make sure the budgets are approved before you do anything. When it's just you're just like, okay, just spend all the money that we have and make it happen.
Yeah. Just go all in.
Yeah.
Just go all in.
Yeah. I love that, man. That's so dope. I love that.
And I mean, that's what we did. Cheat codes. That's what we did in the beginning. We used to mix, master, write, produce everything, make our own artwork. I made our logo that we still use today. I went on some font website and just found the coolest font I could find and like added one little triangle to it and was like, this is our logo, I guess. And we've tried to hire 3 or 4 different designers to change it and we never were able to top it. And it's like, we funded our first music video. We scrummaged up $3,000 between the 3 of us and hired 30 college kids that were still in school that did the video for free basically. And so it's like, you don't have resources, you got to be resourceful.
That's it, man.
You got to finesse.
You got to finesse. Dude, can you imagine if you had Court on board when y'all first started? She would have
finesse.
knocking down doors. What would you have done, just real quick, because I'm just super curious, and you can tell me offline if we cut off, but if you had to start over from scratch with the music stuff, what is one thing you would do differently versus what you did when you were getting started?
I mean, maybe just stay independent or just build it up, because it's hard to see from the beginning how you're going to, you don't know the grand scale of the amount of income that could come in. Mm-hmm. And then kind of once you get that big company that's pushing you, you see like, oh, wow, okay, like you can make money from these brands. You can make this amount of money from a show or from a college or these opportunities that you didn't understood exist. So then once it comes in, and then once you get those big companies in, it feels like it's not yours as much anymore. It feels like a group decision, or it's like you're making something for somebody else. Versus before, you're just like, oh, I'm just making something for me, and if people like it, they like it, you know? So I think there's a growing movement of artists that are staying independent because the distribution is there.
You don't have to wait to be chosen anymore. You choose yourself.
Yeah, the distribution's there, and the creation of it, like I said, is there. Like it used to be if you go to an expensive studio, I know we keep talking about Young Thug, but we used to share we used to have a studio at the same building as Young Thug, and he was always using the main room, which I think was like $1,200 a day or something. And our studio, we were paying like $3,000 a month. So it's like, if you're renting out those studios, that can really add up. So if you're going the traditional route, it's like, yeah, it's going to cost you $50,000 a song or something for the studio time. But it's like, people are just, I have a studio right here in my house, and it costs you $0 for the studio time. So it's like, if you don't have to pay for distribution, you don't have to pay for the creation of it. It's like, why do you need this big company to put a bunch of money? And so many of our records that have gotten big weren't records we thought were going to get big. They were records that went viral. They didn't have a lot of money put behind them. They were just the idea, like what you're saying. It's like the idea is right, and you can get it in front of the right people, then it'll take off from there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, that's so sick. I was going to ask you the same thing, Courtney, but I know the answer. The answer is you would get your nails done.
That's right. I would get my fucking nails done, dude. Yeah. This has just been a whole learning process for me, honestly. I think I try not to judge myself too much and like have any like regrets and shit, because it's just like I'm learning, and I'm never mad at myself for like making mistakes. I'm like, you know what, Court? Like at the end of the day, I have good intentions. I'm a good person, and things are working out. I'm just trying to like stay on the right path, and I feel like it all works out. You know? Yeah. It always works itself out. There's a lot of shit that I don't know, and I still don't know, but it's all coming together.
The more you know you don't know.
Coming together.
It's true. It's very true. And actually, I was telling you that I was there yesterday with Jay Shetty when he was doing a podcast. And he said something that really stuck out to me. He said the doors that are meant to stay open will stay open.
Yeah.
And it's like, as long as you just keep going through the open doors, and the ones that are trying really hard to close. Yeah. And that's the hard part, right? Like when to give up, when to like throw in the towel. Yeah. And I think it's different for everybody. But I think if something starts feeling so hard that it's hurting your soul, then maybe it's not the right thing. But if something is just taking a lot of effort, it's still possibly the right thing. Yeah. So as long as the doors even has a little creak open, I'm gonna kick the motherfucker in.
You know what? I heard something funny. Someone said ego will have you trying to get through a door to get through that door to get something you don't even want. Isn't that interesting?
That's really good.
You know what I mean? That's something that stuck out. I read that like a month ago, and I'm like, damn, that shit is so true, dude. Ego. Kill the ego.
Gotta figure out what you really want.
You gotta figure out what you really want. Yeah.
I'm not down on ego. A lot of people are like, the ego is your enemy and all this other stuff.
It's a balance.
It's a balance. And the thing with me, the thing I like to look at for my ego is that as long as my ego drives me to service.
Yes.
Because like for me to say, I get up on stage, or I do an Instagram video, or I do whatever, and like somebody tells me that it's really inspiring for them or change your life or whatever, for me to say like, I don't enjoy receiving that, I'd be lying. Yeah. And that is my ego. But then that in turn makes me want to turn around and do that for more people and serve more people. So as long as it's serving, I'm okay with my ego having a front seat in what I'm doing.
Intention.
Yeah, it's all intention. It's all intention.
Word of the year is intention.
Amen. Word of the year is
quarantine.
Oh yeah.
Quarantine.
You gotta roll our quarantine.
That's the Cardi B version.
That's the Cardi B version. Yes.
Oh my God.
Word of the year is quarantine too. Well, damn. Yeah. Well, we want to thank you for coming, because we love you so much, and we feel like we haven't seen you in so long.
Thanks for you fed me.
We fed you.
I mean, you literally fed me, but like you fed me, and it's not just
soul
feeding
food.
me. It's amazing. Yes. Annie.
Annie's
the best. She the best.
She is like,
shout out Annie's on Fairfax.
But Annie's needs to like hit up Venice side.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I guess
she needs to open up at the second location for sure.
What we'll do is we will sell our medical book.
Yes.
And what was the other thing we were going to create? The jail for rich people for a weekend to reset.
Oh yes, they can reset their shit.
So we'll take all the profits from that. And we'll take Annie and franchise her and bring her over to Venice.
Ain't that the most privileged shit you ever heard?
Done. Well, and we're gonna call it Cortikai headquarters.
Cortikai headquarters. And before I leave, just let me know where I get my black card.
Yeah, there you go. You got it.
Yeah. So maybe real quick, just if you want people to follow you or grab your book or where they can find you, website.
Yeah.
So you can find me on the interwebs at the Jason Goldberg, the THE. Okay. Jason Goldberg was taken. So at the Jason Goldberg. And I'm giving you a link to get a free copy of Prison Break, the audio version, digital version. And if
you got it, right? Show them the cover.
Where's the?
Oh yeah, it's right there.
The book. I don't even know. Where's it at?
It's right there.
Oh, I can get it.
Staring at us.
I can get it. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Get it.
I'm glad you took your headphones off first because most people would just get up and just
rip.
Go. There you go. Yeah. We have it. We have it right here, guys.
So here we go. The book is called Prison Break. And you can get it online. Don't buy it though. Go to the link that we're going to give you and you can get a free copy of it. And if you're in the US, I will send you a free physical copy.
You heard that, you guys.
Just pay a couple bucks for shipping and handling and I'll send it to you.
Hells yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you. We love you so much for coming. And, we'll see you soon for sure.
For sure.
Damn. Well, thank you for watching. I'm not racist. My friend's black.
It's true.
Stop posting them goddamn motherfucking black squares. Shit don't mean a goddamn thing does. But what you can do is like, subscribe, and turn the notification bell on to our podcast. Tune in.